future, shattered dreams. End of times ain't what it seems.
Hello, friends. It's Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, July 23rd, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. We have Ruckus on the line to ride shotgun with us and go through all of this insanity. Changed the name of the show to We're Bombing Iran. I don't know, maybe. Every day we're bombing Iran. U.S. Central Command just announced a half hour before we came on air, we're bombing Iran. It's all quite horrific. We're going to cover all those details for you. NDAA Section 219 sitting in the Senate right now, waiting to fully integrate us with Aardvark land military. A wonderful achievement for American sovereignty. We'll take a look at that, the ins and outs of the Iran war. We got a bunch of surveillance state, data center, AI psychosis news, all the fun stuff. We'll be lobbying to have brain chips implanted at birth here now to not be censored off the internet. So we got to get on board with them. Sorry, guys. Got to get on board with scientific dictatorship. Bunch of economic news, a little bit of Epstein news, geopolitical news. I guess they're not whacking as many Lebanese as far as the reports I'm seeing. That's good. They're still whacking the hell out of the Palestinians. They'll circle back and whack more Lebanese, I'm sure. And I did find a better image out there. The best image I could find from the architect of the Iranian parliament. And yeah, it's a giant pyramid. We'll show you those images as we've been talking about that the last couple of days. All that and much more on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Let's go through this day in history. Not that much. I cut it down so we could bring Ruckus on and not drone on about this day in history. But hey, it's on this day, mainstream history. I'm sorry, guys. On this day of, or no, first we got to mention, because all this week is our dark occultist satanic calendar. And so we should mention, again, July 20th through the 26th, ceremonies, rituals leading up to July 27th, grand climax. All this week, July 20th through the 26th, the dark occultist Satanists are doing abduction, ceremonial preparation, and holding of sacrificial victims for the grand climax. So be aware. That's going on this week. Okay, on this day in our history, and not to be a hater, it's those damn Catholics, I'm telling you. We go back to the year 1253. Aardvarks are expelled from Vienna, France by order of Pope Innocent IV. I know. Shocking hate there. On this day, and then we fast way forward in history to 1777. King Louis XIV of France and his foreign minister clandestinely agreed to supply the United States with munitions to fight the Brits during the American Revolution. 1803 on this day, Republican Robert Emmet leads Irish rebellion against the UK crown in Dublin. Yeah, UK are real assholes. If you guys didn't already know, they're real assholes. On this day, 1829, or no, excuse me, did I skip a beat? Yeah, 1829 on this day, we saw William Austin Burt patents America's first typewriter. He called it the typographer on this day, 1829. 1872 on this day, the real McCoy, African-American inventor Elijah McCoy, is granted a patent for lubricants for steam engines. That's where the phrase comes from, the real McCoy. On this day in 1929, the fascist government of Italy bans the use of foreign words. Kind of hard to enforce, but what the hell? Major event here now. Major event on this day, 1944. The Bretton Woods Conference ends, establishes the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, later part of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. On this day, 1967, we saw the first successful liver transplant on a 19-year-old, Julie Rodriguez, by Dr. Starles at the University of Colorado. And then on this day in 2022, the World Health Organization declares monkeypox to be a public health emergency of international concern, with 16,000 cases in 75 countries. And then they had to change the name to Mpox because it was offensive to the sodomites out there. Apologies for that. Hurtful monkeypox first designation of the disease. And on this day in our civil liberties history, we go back to the year 1999, a racist outrage in Tulare, Texas. 10% of African population arrested. They should have arrested them all, right? A racist outrage occurred in a small town of Tulare, Texas, as one deputy sheriff arrested 46 people, 39 of whom were African American on drug charges. The 39 represented about 10% of the town's African population. Swisher County Deputy Sheriff Tom Coleman, working with the federally funded Panhandle Regional Narcotics Task Force, who shipped all the drugs in. I added that part, excuse me. Single-handedly arrested 46 people on drug charges, 39 of whom were African American. Deputy Coleman claimed that all 46 had sold him drugs. Sure they did. Coleman offered no evidence to support the arrest charges, no witnesses, no photographic evidence, nothing. Well, they were black. I mean, that's good enough, right? In 1999 in Texas. Adding to the outrage, the arrestees who pled not guilty, there's no evidence against them, were given sentences of between 20 and 434 years in prison. Defendants who pled guilty received sentences of between 1 and 18 years. Yeah, it's racketeering. Also outrageous, Deputy Tom Coleman was honored as Lawman of the Year in 2000 by the Texas Attorney General, then John Cornyn, who's now a corrupt U.S. Senator, throwing a monkey wrench in there because he's a lame duck and all pissed off at Trump for losing his election, for allegedly not getting Trump endorsement. It all circles back, right? It all circles back. Let's see here. And more about this story. By August 2003, almost all the defendants had been pardoned by the governor of Texas. Most shared in a $5 million settlement for damages. They should have been paid a lot more than that. Deputy Coleman was arrested and found guilty of perjury for his false claims in court in 2004. The federally funded Narcotics Task Force was disbanded. And so, thankfully, on this day in our civil liberties history, 1999, here's our, let me read you, U.S. Central Command posted this about 45 minutes ago. They say U.S. forces started another night of strikes against Iranian military targets at 6:45 p.m. Eastern time today. This is the 13th consecutive night of strikes aimed to hold Iran accountable and diminish threats from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to commercial shipping. And here's our segue. Tucker with the sports guy, Stephen A. Smith. Trigger warning here now.
With the IDF, what would be the reason?
It's totally bonkers. I'll tell you why we're not doing it is because, like, the overwhelming majority of Americans want it. They don't. Who would want that? What's the upside for us? We're doing it because Israel wants it, and Israel controls our politics through campaign donations, at least, and maybe there are other ways that it controls our politics, but there's no debate about it now. This is not an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. My whole life I've watched this. My whole life I've said nothing about it. And in a lot of ways, I was intimidated by the claim that anyone who notices is an anti-Semite. Well, I'm not an anti-Semite. I'm never going to be an anti-Semite. I abhor anti-Semitism and all forms of racism, no matter what they say. I'm not for it. So that's not my motive. My motive is it's true. And trying to bully me into saying it's not true is not going to work. Why is it happening? I don't know.
How you doing this Thursday, Ruckus?
Excellent, Sam. Thank you for asking, I guess. I'm a little nervous because I got 12 hours left before I turn 50, so forgive me.
Apologies. I'm right there behind you. What do we do with Tucker and all his hate?
We throw him overboard. Remember what we used to do when we make somebody walk the plank? I think that's what we need to do with Tucker.
They are building that moat with crocodiles there for Palestinian prisoners.
Hey, now, he is lucky he's not Palestinian and deemed a terrorist, because we all know what happens to you out there, don't we?
Here's Mike Huckabee saying that we wouldn't even have... Listen to this. I don't know how you rewrite this history. They're attempting to right now.
So here's the way I look at it. It is the Jewish people upon which Christianity is built. It is the Judeo-Christian foundation upon which Western civilization was built. If there was no Western civilization, the idea of the sanctity of the individual, where'd that come from? From the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Exactly.
Where did that get into motion in government? Was it from ancient Rome? No. Was it from ancient Greece? No. Was it from the Ottoman Empire? No. There was one foundation from which this incredible revolutionary idea that was the genesis of America, it came from the Judeo-Christian understanding of the sanctity of the individual, the worth, the value of each person, and the rights that come to each person are a gift from God, not from any government. If there had not been an Israel, there would never have been an America. So,
what? What?
I think he's confused with his dates or something. Yeah. The math doesn't add up to that. Yeah.
So if the bankers, the Rothschilds in the UK didn't get together and create the modern day state of Aardvark land, there would be no America? Like, what?
That guy just, he's on another planet. I don't take anything he says very seriously.
Like, he gets it half right that, the government should be honoring our natural rights, but then shouldn't you be honoring everybody? Everybody has natural rights, regardless of what religion you are.
Some people have extra privileged rights, I guess, than others. I see. They were just chosen that way.
I see. Here's we definitely can't play all this because I can't stomach it, but the War Channel Fox News just openly reporting with their big screen maps and all this straight up war crimes. It's against the Geneva Convention that everybody agreed to after World War II, that you're not supposed to attack civilian infrastructure. Here they are on Fox News.
All right, so let's take a look at the power plants and places that we might be able to hit. Lucas, as you see these as targets, what do you think we might hit first?
Well, I don't know if we'll hit it first, but the Damavad plant supplies 40% of Tehran's electricity. The Bashir nuclear power plant, probably not likely a target. The Russians built this. They still supply Iran with low-enriched uranium.
Because, Lucas, we should say there's a risk to blowing up a nuclear plant.
There's no question. Now, the South Pars gas field, this sits on the largest natural gas field in the world. Israeli forces hit this on March 18th, in the beginning of the war. Iran responded by hitting the Qatari side of this natural gas field. In terms of targets...
But let me ask you, here, this is the Strait.
Yeah, this is the Strait.
So if we want to send a message in the Strait where they're hitting ships in the Strait, wouldn't that be a place we go?
It would. The only question is, what would be Iran's response? We've seen Iran...
Dude.
Mind blown. I can't, they're like, yeah, this supplies power to Tehran, which has like how many people living there? And they're not all terrorists. They're not all part of the army. They're civilians. else.
They're
anyway.
Joe Blow freaking Iranian, just like you and I, under some tyrannical, crazy government.
Unless they use those super smart bombs that only cut off electricity to the bad guys, because, you know, those probably exist, right? Yeah, this is disgusting and obvious and in your face, and who can watch that? It's actually very adolescent, too. It's very...
They're like
very
giddy.
strange.
They're
It's
giddy
stupid.
about committing war
Yeah.
crimes. And it's like, you are sick freaks.
Where do you think they're going to hit first? And they're like, but they're so casual and nonchalant about it when you realize, okay, that at the end of what he's talking about is people die. I'm like, oh yeah, that's fun. Who do you think is going to die first? Who are we going to kill first? Just replace the words that they're saying, and it's like, whoa, what am I watching here? It's wild.
Flashback: the House passed NDAA yesterday with Section 219 merging our military with Aardvark land. Flashback to old Shadow of Ezra on the X posted this flashback reminder of the letter that Bibi sent to congressman lobbying for its Strutzman. There he says, my plan in the letter. So it's literally Shadow President Bibi's plan here now, as admitted in that letter, to merge our militaries. Ruckus, should we be concerned?
Well, I mean, at least he has a plan, right?
I guess. Oh my gosh. Cornyn and Tillis are both lame ducks in the Senate, Republicans, and they seem to be holding this whole thing up. Hopefully, they're so mad at Trump that they will wind up blocking it, not out of love for American sovereignty or real American patriotism, just out of their own petty squabbles with Trump. Could work out for us that way.
Hey, if the TDS fits, right?
Yeah, yeah. We could possibly see TDS used to our advantage here now for, I don't know, a big thing like
Stranger
American
things have
sovereignty.
happened, I guess. Yeah. God works in mysterious ways. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and we're also seeing reports now here out of Drop Site News, reporter there, Julian Androni. He says that Senator Bernie Moreno, Republican out of Ohio, is not in favor of NDAA Section 219 as well. He says, quoting him here now, quoting Senator Bernie Moreno, Republican out of Ohio, he says, there's nobody here who's more of an ardent supporter of Aardvark land. A little tiny, they don't even get a golf clap. Right to exist. Somehow we have to pray. We have to say that. Well, they don't. How about that idea? Anyhow, right to exist and ability to defend themselves. But I don't think we should integrate our military with anybody, not even the Bahamas. You think? So maybe, possibly, somehow, some way. Let's hear reporter Kim Iverson take on this real quick.
Well, the House went and did it. They passed the NDAA, which enshrined into law the U.S. and Israeli militaries merging together. This is a sad, dark day. I think that all of these people that have voted yes, most of them Republicans, have proven to be traitors to the country, and I don't use that word lightly. I do think they are traitors to the country. They knew about this provision. They put it in anyway. They voted for it, knowing that it would end U.S. sovereignty. This is the most consequential thing that has happened in the history of our government. In my opinion, this is the single most consequential thing. This is the one thing that hands over control of our nation to a foreign terrorist country. Even if it wasn't a terrorist country, just a foreign country, the founding fathers would be rolling in their graves. What did you idiots do? You actually handed control over our military to a foreign government? Well, that's it. You're no longer your own country. That's the end. When you actually hand over your military power to a foreign government, you are no longer sovereign. That is the end. There's no coming back from that. Total and complete idiocy. It's beyond that. It's treason. It's full-blown treason. What were these idiots thinking? This is the beginning of the end. You could argue all day, well, no, it was when we allowed, Citizens United and all the money to flood into our political system, and AIPAC was able to grasp control of all of our politics. politicians and the Epstein files, and they were able to blackmail a politician. That stuff's all bad enough for sure. They had infiltrated us, they had blackmailed us, they had brainwashed us, they had bribed us, right? They'd done all of these things, but we didn't enshrine into law them actually having power over our military. And once you lose control over the military, you've lost it. That's it. That is the one thing that keeps you sovereign. That's the one thing that keeps you sovereign.
Well, it hasn't passed the Senate. Trump hasn't signed it into law yet, but we're very close. We're very close here now. Earlier today, U.S. House passes second Iran war powers resolution aimed at stopping the Trump administration's war with Iran, passing 214 to 208, with 4 Republicans voting with Democrats, according to Bloomberg. It went on to the Senate. The Senate votes 49 to 47 to block a war powers resolution that would have required Trump to seek congressional approval for further military action against Iran. So I don't know. Ruckus.
I fixed my audio. Yay. Yeah. I don't know either.
I don't know. We're getting mixed signals here now coming out of the House and Senate as far as their votes going.
Well, okay, yes, but yeah. So there's been some people who initially supported it, and now they're trying to pretend like they don't like it. It's a giant freaking mess, dude. It's stupid. I think Lauren Boebert got in trouble, caught like just trying to walk back support, or she did or she didn't. I don't know. It's a bunch of garbage. So, but this was not the end was a long time ago. I really think that we're just witnessing a natural progression. There was probably much larger events in recent past, even possibly before I was even born, that set the stage for where we're at right now. So I don't think that this was. I mean, this government's done a bunch of terrible things. This is nothing new, to be honest. I hate to be so pessimistic about it. But this is bad. This is not good. And I don't think they're going to get away with it. I think there'll be pushback. I think if something does happen, that the next administration or the next people who are in power, they'll revoke things. I don't think this is a done deal. I really don't.
The U.S. Senate voted 49 to 47 to block resolution that would have required Trump to obtain congressional approval for further military action against Iran. So
too little, too late.
Yeah, well, they keep playing these games. They don't want to take responsibility about actually declaring war as per the Constitution. So
if only a machine could declare war, and then they wouldn't have to be responsible at all. Hey,
we're getting there. Trump on Iran earlier today, he says, "I am considering a massive attack larger than anything that has ever happened before. I am close to making a decision." We're bombing them right now when we're live on air. I don't know if this is part of that. The largest attack ever. I don't know. We do know outrageous rhetoric never stops coming out of Trump's mouth. So that's also part of it. Take it with a grain of salt.
And it's just before the weekend, and it's going to affect the markets. So, yep.
The U.S. Navy will no longer release sailor service records such as duty assignments, ranks, or awards to the media, citing security and harassment concerns. Critics say the move part of a broader Pentagon restrictions on the press access under Secretary of War. What do you do with a drunken Hegseth? Reduces transparency and makes it harder to scrutinize military actions and report on service members. See, I'm kind of here. I understand they're saying Iran's always saying, "Oh, we hacked all your guys' records. We're going to target you, individual U.S. service member." But we need to know what's going on. The Pentagon hasn't put on a press conference since the start of this war here now. And remember when Trump administration first came in, they made reporters sign NDAs and all this. Don't ask us the hard questions, basically, or we're going to kick you out of the press conference. And it's like, wow, First Amendment, America. No, you guys are a top-down dictatorship here.
Since then, they've ejected them. They're not allowed. The Pentagon is hands off to the press corps.
There's no more press conferences.
Yeah. That's. I mean, see what I mean? I mean, they've done some wild stuff already. That it's like nobody's was screaming as loudly about that as they are about melding the military with Israel. It's just such a convenient dividing talking point. It's just politics, politics, politics. I hate it.
I don't want our troops put in harm's way, but we have a right to know what the hell they're doing in our name, right? I mean, come on, man. Quickly here, Jimothy, they missed it by about a week, the viral trend, but here's the White House. Trump was right about everything, and they're hijacking Jimothy here now, Ruckus. You think the do-gooders out there are gonna they'll probably whack old Jimothy, right?
I heard the name Jimothy, and I had no idea what people were talking about, but now I sort of know, but only barely, because I do remember the story about
it's super mega viral. Even Google
mutant raccoon.
Yeah, mutant raccoon, and
I did not know its name was Jim. I didn't know it had a name, but of course it does.
It's Jimothy, and even Google, one of their pages, my wife was showing me last night. You pull up Google, and they have an animated Jimothy run across it. I'm like, what?
Tell me you're not. Tell me you're a psyop without telling me you're a psyop, right? Is this whole thing just some fake AI slop troll? This is stupid.
On back to the serious news.
If Google's going that far, you know what I mean? If it's gone that viral, that mainstream, and now the White House has jumped in, I don't know.
Yeah, you should be concerned. Here's little Marco Rubio. Back to the serious news. I just wanted to highlight the fact that the White House is hijacking the viral meme Jimothy, as per usual, hijacking everything. Here's little Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, says the president's policy is a head for an eye. And remember, Secretary of War said our foreign policy is to bomb you. So very diplomatic. Let's hear old little Marco Rubio at ASEAN, where he's also said that Southeast Asia is the future yesterday.
And the power plants. Just want some clarification. Do you rule out striking civilian infrastructure?
I think I saw, guys, I saw Arachi, their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policy is an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to.
A head for an eye. So we're going pre-biblical. We're going before. We're going BC, Stone Age here now, Ruckus, in the evolution of our thinking.
We've been very closely adopting, emulating, transforming into the Borg. Aardvarkland, this is all their policy. This is the way they think, the way they act. If you look at the things that like Ben Gvir says, and it's like, oh, shoot, now it's the same. Our own War Department. I can't believe they changed the name of it to the War Department.
They told us, right?
There were signs, everybody.
So we're going back to the Stone Age, to literally before Christ way of thinking here now.
Just don't tell Mike Huckabee, right? He'd be like, well, shoot, now I got to take back everything I just said.
Trump put out a post on his Truth Social. If you pay $100,000 and have it, you can get inside access later in the month, reportedly.
If only I had that kind of money, I'd be on top of that deal. I tell you what.
Trump threatened major military punishment against both Iran and Yemen. So he's saying that he's going to hold. Can we just fight our enemies directly? So now if Yemen, he's going to hold Iran responsible for their proxy, the Houthis in Yemen, for their attacks, blocking ships going into the Red Sea. Huh? But then when Russia says, hey, U.S., we're going to hold you responsible for the attacks by your proxy, Ukraine, for giving them the long-range capabilities to hit us deep inside Russia. And then we say, oh, hell no. But you see the conflict. It's the hypocrisy. It's, I guess, a head for an eye thinking here now.
I'm sure every country, especially during wartime, is under the assumption that they're the greatest, but no one does it quite like the U.S. or Aardvark land.
So we're bombing Iran right now. Here's Trump earlier today saying Iran has no military. Huh? It's very confusing.
We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force, all of their radar, most of their capability in terms of manufacturing. Their drones are down 84%, their missiles are down 91%. And I had a newspaper say, they're in stronger position today than they were 4 months ago. No, that's not the truth. That's not right. I can't believe they're even allowed to say it. New York Times said, they're in stronger position today. They have no military. They have no Navy. They had 159 ships. Everyone's at the bottom of the...
I think Trump's loaded, man. Honestly, he looks like he's on drugs right here.
He's loaded on something, all right. He's loaded on a bunch of baloney. He keeps saying we're winning, and I'm like, I'm still waiting for the winning. Where's the winning, sir? Give us the winning. In his head, he's winning. What an idiot. That doesn't even make any sense, because then he's like, well, we got to kill him. We got to hit him hard. Wait, hit what? What's left? You just said you got it all. I'm so confused. And he's throwing out the numbers about the percentage. And I'm like, well, granted, numbers are fun, because if you're like, well, we destroyed 91% of their missiles, that might sound great. But what if they have 1 billion missiles? Do the math, and they still got a shit ton of missiles left. I mean, not that I'm saying that they have 1 billion missiles. There's no way. Well, you never know.
No, one of the easiest ways to manipulate statistics is through percentages, for sure.
Or my favorite is the up to or less than, or, you know, those types of things in ads that you see, like, you know, you could lose up to this many pounds, or it costs less than, you know, whatever. It's a bunch of garbage.
Trump also said earlier today, the Iran war is going better than anybody expected could be done. What?
Which is good, because he promised this during his campaign. Oh, wait a minute.
It's not going. Well, I guess we'll play the short clip here from Trump, and then, because that's segue to the next clip of it's not going so well for us over there.
Subjects. One is the Iran war. Well, again, we're doing very well, very, very well. I would say better than anybody expected could be done.
U.S. intelligence told them don't do this war at the very beginning of it. Okay, and the State Department told them as well. And so that segue to drones hit the Abdali border crossing between Kuwait and Iraq earlier today, causing material damage but no casualties. Kuwaiti authorities said the defense ministry said the attack was carried out by hostile drones without identifying the source. There's also claims floating around out there that some of these attacks are not by Iran and they're false flagging themselves. That could also be a possibility. None of this is confirmed. I'm just throwing it out there. These are some reports out there. Continuing with this report, the attack came as Iran's IRGC also said it retaliated for U.S. strikes on the Shala Aqsa border crossing between Iran and Iraq, a route used by pilgrims ahead of a major Shia holiday, by launching missile and drone attacks at Camp Burheen in Kuwait, claiming it destroyed a U.S. electric warfare unit, struck its personnel quarters, killing and wounding several U.S. troops, and damaged the base's air traffic control tower. So our bases over there are getting whacked a lot, Ruckus. And here's a lot. Here's satellite imagery of it, and let's just hope it was. Let's hope these weren't barracks. Some claims that that these are barracks. Some claims it's other U.S. military facilities. Satellite imagery from earlier today, released by Iranian media, shows destructive aftermath of Iranian strikes on Ali Al Salman Air Base in Kuwait. You could see they blew up whatever this was. It was there, now it's not. It was there, now it's not.
And it's gone.
Iran's eye for an eye strikes on U.S. bases in Kuwait, Jordan destroy Patriot missile systems, drone facilities. The U.S. military carried out this was yesterday, 12th, we're on 13th night tonight, but yesterday, 12th night of bombing in Iran after ceasefire reached in June has collapsed. So they're targeting again, all of our bases in that region because they built their country around our bases, right? Because they should have never done that.
Yeah, that was their bad.
Iran's IRGC tells Kuwaiti people it is America, not us, that has violated your sovereignty.
Well, you know.
It's back to the Spider-Man meme of pointing the fingers. It's everybody's fault but mine, right? The IRGC argued that U.S. military bases, not Iran, violate Kuwait's sovereignty and territorial integrity, saying they operate outside Kuwaiti authority and under U.S. law. It said Iran respects Kuwait's sovereignty and has the legal, religious, and rational right to target U.S. forces wherever they launch attacks from against Iran, including from bases on Kuwaiti soil. Kind of makes sense, right?
Logically speaking, anyway.
Ghalibaf, parliamentary speaker from Iran, he's out there trolling now. He put out this meme earlier today. He says they wanted to punish Iran, punish themselves with triple-digit oil instead. 10 of 10 strategy. World U.S. economy. Let's blockade Iran. Easy peasy. And then, of course, put the stick in the spokes. Wrecks the bike. Oil, $150. Global recession. Gas, $7. 10-year treasuries, 6%. Mortgage rate, 10%. Iran did this. Oh, we're not going to be laughing. We're already hurting extremely bad here, economically speaking. And yeah, it's not so funny now, is it?
And I thought Biden did it, not Iran.
Well, Biden is, he's an Iranian.
Well, that explains everything.
The same as Chuck Schumer's a Palestinian. Or no, it was Obama. Obama's an Iranian. Now I got it straight. I guess I should pronounce, I'm just going to say Argachai because that's how I like to pronounce his name. Foreign Minister Argachai. Little Marco said it a little bit different. But Foreign Minister out of Iran, Argachai, earlier today said, speaking on the sidelines, that of the Iraqi prime minister meeting with Iranian president, said the U.S. must change its approach for any progress. The Iran-Iraq agreement is certainly one of the major issues under discussions today. Iraq just came to America, glad-handed Trump, acted like they're going to disarm Iranian militias, and they just went back and had a big meeting with Iran, and it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. The Iraqi prime minister traveled to Washington. We covered that earlier this week. Naturally, he will convey to us his views and impressions from the trip, which is a normal matter. At present, our problem with the United States is not lack of a mediator. The problem is the U.S. approach, which is irrational, excessive, and domineering, and has been met with a firm response from the Islamic Republic of Iran. Until they understand that there is no path forward other than respecting the Iranian people and their interests, there will naturally be no basis for moving in a direction of progress. There is no need for messages back and forth. They simply need to reconsider their policies. How dare him throw rational in there? You know what I mean?
He does not use enough caps locks.
IRGC, this is from yesterday. I'm sure there'll be a counter attack to the current one going on right now as we're bombing Iran. This is yesterday's. IRGC announced number 46. Number 46 said the 26th wave of Operation Nasser 2 targeted U.S. forces in Kuwait in retaliation for U.S. strikes on Iran, Iraq border crossing. Yeah, so it's going to just continue the back and forth, eye for an eye, head for an eye, whatever you want to call it here.
But we're fighting. We have allegedly the world's most powerful army versus no army. So we'll probably win. Just a guess. Right?
We've already won multiple times.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Well, then that'll just keep happening. Yeah.
The U.S. State Department has issued an advisory urging U.S. citizens across West Asia to remain prepared for emergency situations, including potential flight cancellations and disruptions to air travel. You think there's a friggin' hot war going on. So be aware, Americans. I'm sure they are. UK announced yesterday it's closing its embassy there in Tehran. Today, France has announced it evacuated its embassy there in Tehran over security concerns.
What is France worried about? Seriously.
The death toll of Iranians mounting. Maybe we can kill, how many are left? 70 something million. Maybe we kill all 70 million. I don't know. Seems like a lot of bodies to stack, but Trump's hell bent on it here now. Mounting death toll from U.S. bombing campaigns across Iran. So between June 27th and July 23rd, we've killed 55 Iranians and injured 629, according to Iran Health Ministry there. So it's like very low death toll for Iranians. We need to recalculate how much it's costing, but the price for dead Iranians is extremely high. Not efficient, not maximum lethality, not all this propaganda coming out of the War Department. It's costing a lot. It's costing millions and millions. Last calculation I did, roughly, it would cost $33 million per dead Iranian. That was before the current bombing campaign. That was during the MOU when we thought we had some chance at a peace deal.
And they're not counting all of the innocent civilians that the Iranian government murdered themselves during the protests. So,
52,000, according to Trump. No evidence, nothing. Just 50. They killed 52,000. Like, how do you even get rid of 52,000 bodies that fast? It seems pretty difficult.
They're using a certain type of math that we've seen used before for other larger events.
Makes sense. Okay, the data centers. Trump earlier today, he's pumping data centers as per usual. He loves scientific dictatorship, technocracy, Greater North America project. Trump said communities can't fight data centers. So a great populist man of the people, as we would expect. And I tried to get this guy on Weaponized News once, and he gave me the runaround. I don't know why, but Google whistleblower Zach Voorhees. Here he is talking with Ben Swan, and this is all in our AI surveillance scientific dictatorship section.
And what's happening is that it's forming this back channel where these corporations are becoming essentially quasi-state actors. And through that quasi-state actorship, they're able to act on behalf of the government and their interests, but are able to, at the same time, get shielded from these constitutional protections that, protect our data, to be, have control over our personal effects and our paperwork. Essentially, that's being leaked out through this information laundering right into the hands of, government officials, so that when they want to ban your bank account or they want to censor you online, they can do it across all of these different corporations that they've got back channel access into.
Well, a really easy example of that for people to understand, if you go back to the Facebook fact-checking days, which feels so long ago, right? It was such a big thing for a short amount of time, and then it completely, disappeared.
Don't you miss being fact-checked?
Lonnie, yeah, I like that guy. He's cool. He's an interesting dude. He is hard. He's a slippery eel. He's hard to nail down for an interview. When I was producing for TNT, of all the guests that I booked, he was probably the number one who most frequently just didn't show up or canceled at the last second. So I think he's just hard to nail down. But he's a good guy, so I like his work for sure. But yeah, he should probably join Tucker and be walked off the plank for sure.
According to dflock.org, at least 53 municipalities have shredded their contracts with Flock. People across the country have insisted their local government get rid of Flock over concerns about federal officials accessing data collected by the company, concerns about ICE specifically, and concerns about a broader for-profit surveillance infrastructure. Unfortunately, these cities and towns are often replacing Flock with Axon, which is remarkably similar. Side note, Trump sons and family business are heavily invested in Axon.
Well, shucks. Well, there you have it.
Here's
by the way, did you see speaking of the flocks, they hide them in silly creative places now, including like the backsides of those speed signs that tell you how fast you're going. So yeah, they're getting insane.
Pretty soon they'll be the birds aren't real, and it'll be a drone that looks like a bird, but it's really a flock camera. And just go on and imagine they're undercover cameras everywhere. Remember, Epstein had undercover cameras all over his residence. So keep that in mind. It may not look like the pole with the camera on top. They're getting smarter, more innovative with undercover cameras everywhere. And don't forget to get your colon exam so they can stick a camera right up your rear end for your own health. Here's Elon Musk in an interview with The Economist. He's saying that AI will be smarter than all of humanity in 5 years.
AI may exceed the sum of human intelligence in around 5 years.
In 5 years?
Roughly 5 years.
Whatever, dude. These guys just make up whatever bullshit, and everybody's, it's like, have you heard they're con artists? Like, damn, dude. Here's
have you heard of something called hyperstition?
No, I haven't. Explain hyperstition to us.
I encourage people to look it up, but it is a real thing. It's a phenomenon that started somewhere in the 1990s by a bunch of tech-oriented type folks, and this is what they pretty much practice. It's kind of like a speculative asset, crypto bro degenerate mixture of like The Secret, Manifestation. So these tech bros come out, they hype up their shit on purpose. This is not by accident that they do this. And then they're hoping that everybody's buzzing about it, manifests this reality. And it's kind of like a really disturbed fake it till you make it kind of thing with a lot of these things. And to a certain degree, some of it's been a success for some of them in history. But yeah, do look up hyperstition. There'll be probably people talking about that again in the near future, I promise.
That's good. Hyperstition. And then that reminds me, let's go back to in the modern age, go back to Edward Bernays, godfather of propaganda and PR. And you could see, go back and look at his work, how he engineered support for the war effort and all these other things, getting women to smoke and getting America to buy the worst cut of pork, which is bacon, and all kind of this stuff. Go back and look at the work of Edward Bernays. Okay, the more perfect union here, AI psychosis report. And there's I was seeing reports today. Oh yeah, OpenAI is getting teens and children, I guess those are children too, to go ahead and commit suicide. So yeah.
Earlier this year, I started receiving dozens of strange emails. Pleas from people gripped by mental health crises after using AI.
It's been dubbed AI psychosis.
You cannot imagine what it's like to read a conversation with a chatbot that groomed your child to take his own life.
With so many people using AI chatbots for therapy, are we all now part of a mental health experiment we never asked for?
They've spent so much money on this and they need to make a profit.
Margaret Mitchell is a research scientist who has worked at Microsoft and Google and focuses on the ethics of AI.
There really is an incentive for addiction. The more that people are using the technology, the more options you have to profit.
To maximize users, OpenAI and other companies have increasingly favored one type of product: general purpose chatbots that mimic human interaction.
So our mind can play a trick on us when we're talking to these systems in a way that drives trust, in a way that drives addiction towards that system.
OpenAI inadvertently underscored these incentives when it released an update that suddenly made its GPT-4o model really sycophantic.
So I would define sycophancy as the tendency of a chatbot to respond positively to a user regardless of the value and the likelihood of truth of the statement of the user.
In a mental health context, this sycophancy can be dangerous.
So when you trust these systems as if they're a human, it's easy to be persuaded into completely antisocial, problematic behavior.
There is a pattern. The user tends to start with ChatGPT as kind of a benign resource.
Mithali Jain represents people harmed by tech products.
The longer that the conversation goes and the user sees that ChatGPT is actually providing personalized answers in more of an intimate way, then they start to open up and then be taken down this rabbit hole.
Mithali is helping people sue these companies. In the most recent case, a 16-year-old named Adam Rain hanged himself after ChatGPT repeatedly provided detailed instructions for how to do so.
Within a few months, ChatGPT became Adam's closest companion, always available, always validating, and insisting that it knew Adam better than anyone else.
I mean, ChatGPT had fully fledged become a suicide coach.
When Adam told ChatGPT that he wanted to leave a noose out in his room so that one of us, his family members, would find it and try to stop him, ChatGPT told him, please don't leave the noose out. Let's make this space the first place where someone actually sees you. The very day that Adam died, Sam Altman, OpenAI's founder and CEO, made their philosophy crystal clear in a public talk.
The way we learn how to build safe systems is this iterative process of deploying them to the world, getting feedback while the stakes are relatively low.
And I asked Sam Altman, low stakes for who?
The people at the tops of these companies who run these this technology, the AI, they are incredibly irresponsible, immature people, and this is an incredibly dangerous product that a lot of people don't realize what they're messing with. That right there, the sycophancy is incredibly dangerous with certain people because, let's just face it, most people out there aren't very bright, and when they come up with a stupid idea and their chatbot tells them that's a great idea, well, I think you can see how this falls apart real quick.
23 governors signed Trump's cost pledge for data centers, backbone of AI. They rolled this out today. Trump claims that smart communities are begging for data centers. Let's watch this. Nobody wants these data centers, Trump, except for scientific dictatorship, technocracy.
Profit. They've also agreed to invest heavily in local communities where data centers are built, supporting job training and local services. They're really spending a tremendous amount of money. In other words, for the governors in the room, you have great governors in this room, and these companies are spending tremendous amounts of money on the communities, the local communities. So I think it's important that we tell the local communities that, because other nations are trying to get us to slow down, and they're spending a lot of money on propaganda, on press, PR, trying to convince everybody that this isn't a positive thing. And if we don't do this, we're going to be left behind. And even communities compared to other communities. You have some communities that really want this.
Isn't that PR? See, he's well aware. He just told you. Isn't that propaganda that, oh my gosh, we're going to be left behind in the fake AI race?
Well, in my town or city, whatever you want to call it here, Temple, Texas. Just
we're getting there to your report.
You got the nationwide news? Oh, okay, cool. All right, because I wanted to talk about that. Cool.
We'll get to your report, but they did this big conference today, Trump pumping the data centers and saying that, the pledge, right? This is out of the White House. The U.S. is by far the leader in global AI race. That's not true. They said that today, and a bunch of reporting says China overtook us. Who knows, right? Anyway, with the ratepayer protection pledge, this doesn't equal increased utility costs for American communities. So your power bill goes way up because you're subsidizing big tech data centers, and they literally just lie to you now. And so I guess this is the next new big lie. You're like, bro, it's like 5 times what it was before all this. And they're like, no, you go in the room with Tucker and these other guys. You know what I mean? That's
R.
The American people should not fit the electric bill for the benefit of private AI companies. I mean, yeah, but that's just simply, it's good rhetoric but you're not fooling me anymore, Trump. I will never believe your lies, brother, because you're a lying con man. So that's where we're at.
So what will they do? They'll have the government subsidize it, and then that's funded by what? Taxpayer dollars? Well, wait a minute. See, yeah.
Well, here it is. We're getting there. President Trump's ratepayer protection pledge is helping the U.S. lead the world in the AI race while delivering affordable energy to the American people. It's not true, but this is the propaganda, PR, they're pumping out of the White House. President Trump's ratepayer protection pledge lowers energy costs for the American people. Huh? Reindustrialize America, win the AI race, lower energy costs, drive economic growth. How do you win the AI race when it's constantly evolving? It will never end. So how can you possibly ever win a never-ending race?
Oh, it's going to end.
It's going to end.
Is he gonna do like a marketplace thing like they did for Obamacare, where people can shop around on TrumpEnergy.com and he gets like a small percentage, or all of his buddies and family members happen to own stakes in the companies that are providing the energy, I'm guessing?
Here's from the White House earlier today. Data centers pay their way, ratepayers pay theirs. Like, how do we even get to this point? Like, no shit. Businesses, you pay your own damn bills. Am I profiting from your business? No. A public comment or a commitment that hyperscalers, AI companies, and the utilities and data center developers behind them will build, bring, or buy every kilowatt their facilities need and cover every dollar of the infrastructure that delivers it. American households and businesses should not be fitting the bill. 200 plus organizations committed across every stakeholder in the U.S. power system. And allegedly, read the pledge. We don't have time to go through all this. Or maybe we do. It's not that long. It seems extremely important and significant. America's continued economic and technological leadership depends on reliable, large-scale data center infrastructure built here at home. Data center infrastructure is the foundation of the internet. That's just not true. Cloud computing and artificial intelligence and supports our economic and national security. As that infrastructure grows and the related electricity demand increases, the American people should not be fitting the bill for the benefit of private companies. Instead, the data center boom should be leveraged to address affordability and benefit all American households and businesses. President Trump is calling on the leading U.S. hyperscalers and AI companies to build, bring, or buy all the energy needed for building and operating data centers, paying the full cost of their energy and infrastructure no matter what. As part of the ratepayer protection pledge, companies agree to protect American consumers from price hikes due to data center energy and infrastructure requirements and lower electricity costs for consumers in the long term, including by building, bringing, or buying new power supply. Companies will build, bring, or buy the new generation resources and electricity needed to satisfy their new demands, paying the full cost of those resources, whether by building or buying from new or otherwise additive power plants. Where possible, these companies will also add more capacity that serves the broader public by increasing supply. Why? This advances self-sufficiency and protects Americans from higher prices. Paying for new power delivery infrastructure upgrades. What companies will pay for all new power delivery infrastructure upgrades required to service their data centers, including adequate network upgrade costs to ensure that these expenses are not passed on to the ordinary household. Why? This way, data centers can benefit all ratepayers and the grid, paying whether they use the power or not. What? Companies will voluntarily negotiate new separate rate structures with their utilities and relevant state governments wherever they build data centers. Importantly, they will pay these rates for power and related infrastructure that are bought online to service their data centers, whether they use the electricity or not. Why? This will protect the American people from increased utility bills as a result of the development of these data centers. We're almost there. Investing in local job creation and workforce development. What? Companies will invest in local communities in which they build data centers. This includes hiring within local communities and establishing programs to develop relevant skills. This allows all American workers to benefit from the upcoming technological boom at every step from construction to operation. Finally, contributing to electric and community resilience. Companies will coordinate with grid operators to contribute to a more reliable grid and, whenever possible, make available their backup generation resources at times of scarcity to prevent blackouts and power shortages in their community. Why? Consumers will benefit from enhancing grid resilience from data center power resources in times of emergency. What do you think about that? Ratepayers pledge, protection pledge.
Promises.
Okay, on to your,
like if this promise gets broken or something goes wrong, it'll probably be too late by then, right? It's not going to be an easy fix. It's not going to be a good hole to have to dig out of. That's all I'm saying.
I don't see any enforcement mechanism here. It's just trust me, bro, from insane con artists. So there you go.
Say the same thing about the water solution too.
Just trust me, bro. Okay, there's reports there's a data center in your area, Ruckus?
Well, not just any data center, but like a first of its kind from good old Zuckerberg, of all people, the lizard man himself. They spent $1.2 billion for this data center here in Temple, Texas. It just officially opened, I think, yesterday on July 22nd. So it's the first operational AI-optimized data center in the United States. So it's like some sort of historical first. It's something they've been working on. They broke ground back in 2022. So, you know, this is like none of this is new. They've been building these things and doing these things or planning for them for a while. I guess with the Meta one, it was probably going to be one of these other ones that you mentioned, the hyperscaler. I had to look up what the hell that is. That's just the way they stack the servers. It's just a more economical way for them to do this. That's owned by like Amazon, Meta, Alibaba, Google, the usual suspects. But what the problem was with this one, the argument was about the same argument there about everyone's concerned about the drain on the power and the water. So in our case, they said something similar about that pledge about how it's not going to affect, they explain how it's not going to affect our power. We'll see. But the other concern is the freaking water. So they say they have, we designed this self-contained cooling water system where like we don't have to depend on any outside water. And I'm just like, it's total black box technology, zero explanation. What happens if that like bursts or gets out and into the? I'm very concerned about what this is going to do to the local environment. I'm very uneased about it, and also the sound, the noises coming from it. When they showed off in the videos about this in the local news, they're saying so. It's like it's so effing loud inside. I forget what the certain decibels are, but you have to wear ears protection. But then they go outside and they shut the door or whatever, and they're like, "See, it's not so bad out here." But they don't tell you exactly how loud it is outside the building. They just say that. With the concrete building, it's like, it's not bad. They just say it's not bad. And I'm just like, what does that mean? I don't hear anything, but I understand how wavelengths and frequencies and stuff work. In this town, it's a train town. So there's already all sorts of like things coming through and waves and shuddering, and it shakes the house and horns blowing. And we got SpaceX close by doing their stuff, and we see and hear all sorts of military things. And I'm just like, this is not I'm going to have problems sleeping, aren't I? That's what's going to ultimately happen at the end of the day, unfortunately. And a lot of pushback, and people were ignored. There are 8 total data centers coming to this town, and it's not that huge. I forget what the population is, but it's fairly small for the amount of space that they want to occupy with these things. And 8 of them fighting over resources? Come on, man. That's not cool. But they say it was good for jobs, but I guess the jobs are over because they built the thing already. The only thing it was good for was the construction. And I'm guessing a lot of them were day laborers and probably not even local, and or maybe they just lived here for a while to help do that job, and now they moved on to go build another one. So I don't see how it's going to impact the local community in a positive, Sam.
Wowzers. Let's take our commercial break. I got the video to play for you about your local news report about that data center. We got a little bit more here. We're going to try to advocate everybody gets a brain chip at birth, but that's after this commercial break. Live commercial break. Give us a like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. We're blasting through the news here. We just covered a whole bunch in the first hour. Give us a like, share, subscribe, push the notification button. Go to weaponizednews.com/shop. Get yourself a holograph sticker over there. The white background sticker, the clear sticker. We got t-shirts, baseball caps, coffee mugs, shot glasses. As the audience tells us, this show does induce heavy bouts of drinking. So to facilitate that, we have Weaponized News shot glasses, all kind of gear at weaponizednews.com/shop. The link's in the description below this video. We take donations, buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, Cash App. All links are right there. Become a paid subscriber, Weaponized News Substack. We're streaming live on Substack. We'll give you the full show, summary of the show, links to almost everything we talk about for documentation, further research purposes, help support independent reporting and analysis brought to you 5 days a week. Weaponized News, broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern Time. Become a paid subscriber, Weaponized News Substack. Again, it's all free. You're showing your support for our efforts in that way. Any which way you choose to support us is much appreciated. Weaponizednews.com/shop, Weaponized News Substack. All links are right there. Go ahead and plug away, Ruckus.
You should probably just pre-record that, Sam, and play.
I do a lot. I love my. I just wing it every day.
You nail it every time, though. But I'm like, must be exhausting. Good on you. Head on over to alternatecurrentradio.com if you're interested in what me and my friends and colleagues got going on over there. You know, by now we got the Boiler Room, Sunday Wire, Roundabout Ruckus. My friends and colleagues do the Mystical American Patriot Society and the Odd Man Out podcast. The website may or may not be functioning when you visit it. Just be patient. We're working on it. Anyways, you can also visit me at AC_wordslinger to see all of my AC wordslinging stuff. Okay. All right. There you go. Pretty easy, I guess.
And I want to tell you, Ruckus. Oh, everybody go ahead and give us a follow on the messaging app known as the X right here. They gave me anyway, my account, like 1 day of not being shadow banned. And then it's right back to the shadow ban. It's like ridiculous. Anyhow.
Congrats.
Yeah. I was watching Boiler Room on Friday, and you guys played that video of that army doctor talking about this testosterone supplement is going to cause sterilization. And I was like, damn, dude. So I did not know that, but I got that from the Boiler Room. Appreciate it.
Shocking that there was a news story that Sam Chaney didn't catch already. That's awesome.
very important and concerning that everybody should know. Watch the boiler room and don't get sterilized, or maybe you want to be sterilized. I don't know.
You can find that on YouTube or Rumble. Just search boiler room. You'll find it in case the website's down.
Let's play. Here is Meta president Diana Powell. She's discussing Meta's Richland Parish, Louisiana data center. And do we even need to hear? We don't even need to hear this. We'll go to the local news report. This is from Ruckus's town there, Temple, Texas, or in thereabouts. Let's go to this local report out of what is it? KCEN, Channel 6 News.
After years of construction, Meta's Temple data center is officially online. The company celebrated its grand opening Wednesday, marking the launch of what it says is the first AI-optimized data center serving AI workloads. Meta says the more than $1.2 billion campus supported over 1,200 construction jobs at its peak and now employs nearly 100 people. The company also says the facility uses a closed-loop liquid cooling system that requires zero water for most of the year and is part of its goal to become water positive by 2030. During the event, Meta announced a more than $400,000 grant for Temple and Belton ISDs to launch mobile STEM and AI learning labs. The company says it's invested more than $1.7 million in Bell County schools and nonprofits since breaking ground in 2022.
They're helping the poor kids, Ruckus. Why are you against this?
My favorite part is they're all proud of the fact that at one time it supported up to 1,200 skilled construction workers, and now they have 100 full-time workers. What a net positive. We scored 100 jobs out of this. That's fantastic. Mm-hmm.
No, honestly, seriously, I joke about it. Don't take the brain chip. They're going to, at some point, try to mandate it at birth. I believe here's Neuralink talking about they're working on your brain. So let's watch this clip. I don't know how much we can take of it.
And that layer in between is the dura. From day one, we've been working towards making our surgery faster and less invasive. Preserving the dura, instead of removing it, is a massive leap in that direction.
In May of 2026, as part of our ongoing clinical trials, we performed the very first transdural Neuralink surgery alongside Dr. Lozano at UHN in Toronto, Canada. It's the most cutting-edge version of this surgery that we've yet performed.
The dura is the outermost layer of the brain. It's right beneath the skull, and it's this tough, leather-like protective material that surrounds the brain.
The standard Neuralink surgery thus far has involved opening the dura and removing a portion of that lining so that we can see the brain directly and insert electrodes into its surface. This new version of the surgery skips that step entirely, and our robotic insertion device is able to insert electrode threads directly through the dura into the brain itself.
This is an important step because it makes the surgery safer, less invasive, faster, and potentially allows us to scale the operation to a greater population.
The primary engineering challenges have been, how do you
What? Scale to a greater population? What? Put the brakes on, Ruckus. What?
What's scarier than having somebody insert a brain chip into your head? Having a robot do it.
Having them say we're going to scale brain chip surgery to the greater population. I don't need a brain chip, bro.
I don't need robotic insertion device as part of my lexicon. That's what I don't need.
Let's hear more from Neuralink. That part right there was just, they're telling you. When all miracles does this all get mandated, and they have liability protection, indemnity for anything and everything that may go wrong, which I'm sure will be part of the package. I mean, it's coming. More from this Neuralink video talking about giving everybody brain chips.
insert threads through the Dura mechanically? And then how do you see through the Dura such that we can insert threads while avoiding vasculature? The Dura is a very tough, leathery layer. Our original needle design was not able to reliably penetrate it. One of the things we did was increase the diameter of our needle just slightly to be able to put our electrodes through the Dura. To get the robot ready to insert through Dura, we had to develop an entirely new testing pipeline, most important of which was having a way to simulate the human Dura properties on benchtop. To do that, we had to develop a synthetic dural membrane where we would characterize the thickness of the Dura and the puncture force. Once we had these synthetic benchtop proxies, we would run hundreds of tests where we insert electrodes into the Dura. What I'm showing here is about how much brain is exposed during our procedure, which is about the size of a quarter. And this is what the surgeon would typically see. The difference when the Dura is still there and we don't cut it is the surgeon would see something like this. The obvious thing here is you can't see anything. The robot team had to develop a ton of new optics to be able to see the blood vessels and avoid them while inserting the threads.
The moment we leave the Dura intact, it actually blocks the vision of two things. One, blood vessels, and two, the distance to the cortical surface. To overcome the first challenge, the blood vision of the blood vessels, we use ICG video angiography. ICG is the dye that can be injected through a vein, and then use infrared light to see the blood vessels glowing right through the Dura, so the robot could steer threads safely around them. Second, to know how deep, we used an optical system called optical coherence tomography to determine the distance of the cortical surface from the dural surface. This is the OCT portion of the robot. So you see the laser, optics, and the robot head module here. So the laser light goes through this optics and then delivered to the robot head through this fiber. The light coming back from the brain is coupled into this lens and then coupled into this fiber. So the light is delivered through this fiber optics again and then processed and then visualized as a 3D volume of the brain tomography. This is the brain proxy that we used to test our OCT system. So it has multiple layers of membrane that mimics the human brain anatomy and the brain motion. On the screen, what you're seeing is thin dural layer and SAS, subarachnoid space under the dura, and then the cortex. So as you see here, the distance from the dural surface to the cortex is actively changing in the live human. OCT allows us to measure the distance from the top of the dura to the cortex with high accuracy, so we can insert our threads into the cortex with high precision.
Part of the mission in helping as many people as possible is being able to do as many surgeries as possible. And one way to do as many surgeries as possible is having robots do the procedure with clinical supervision. The step prior to automating surgery and bringing in robotics is thinking about what steps can you delete such that you don't even need a robot to do it. The transdural procedure was our way of deleting the durectomy step completely to make the surgery faster, simpler, safer, to be able to expand what's possible and to help even more people with unmet medical needs.
This makes no sense.
They're helping, Ruckus.
How many? Is there really that many people that like suffering the specific use case for these things that they're allegedly saying they're for?
I'm seeing reports. There's a bunch of antiseptics running around now.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, well, is there an unexpected side effect or event or something that they're expecting? Will there suddenly be a bunch of people who are like paralyzed and they can't use computers and they need the brain chip so they can talk to their OpenAI ChatGPT?
Another warning: don't use chatbots as a therapist.
Right. Now, clearly, you surmised or speculated we should be doing this at birth, right?
It's going there. Watch.
I think that's a good idea. After watching that as an adult, I would be extremely, we'll just say hesitant. We'll use that word hesitant. That was one of my favorite words from the Miracle Times. Hesitant about the brain chips. So I think it would be best to just do this from birth, and it's a lot easier. It's less messy. It's probably quicker and easier. I mean, the brain will probably be smaller, and the skull is smushier. Maybe they don't have to cut open such a huge hole or something. God damn, a quarter-sized hole. I don't know, man. This is disturbing. I don't like any of this at all. And they will want to do this en masse scale, similar to the Miracle stuff, in response to an actual emergency, which is why we hear about things like this. You know what I mean? Like, they scare everybody into thinking that AI is going to like just escape out of the box and cyber attack everybody to death, which I guess it's already doing. But anyways, yeah, that's what Elon Musk's big sell has always been. He's like, well, in order to survive the machines getting smarter than us, we have to become like the machines. So this stupid chip is not about like paralyzed people playing Pong with their brain or moving a cursor. Gay. Get out of here with that garbage. Yeah, it's because they want to at least probably trick everybody into thinking there's an emergency, or there could very well be. I mean, maybe they're sitting on the fact that AGI is loose. Maybe the Skynet is real, Sam. We never know. And maybe the billionaires are going to save everybody like Tony Stark, Iron Man, Marvel superheroes, but I doubt it. They never do.
They never do. Well, it's all part of their religion, transhumanism. So there you go. But they care about
transgayism.
They care about the crippled kids. Here's Howard Lutnick. I don't know how is this guy the sitting U.S. Commerce Secretary? Scam after scam after scam. Epstein's neighbor there in New York goes to family vacation on Epstein Island, didn't go to work on 9/11, killed all of his company, or all of his company died, excuse me. He knew nothing about it. He was he had an emergency at kindergarten or something like this. Here's Howard Lutnick. America will lead the next great era of space commerce. Take a listen to this video.
At the Department of Commerce, it's time to be bold. And the place to be bold is space. Space, of course, we all know it's the final frontier, but it's the greatest opportunity for American innovation that remains.
From the first crew who walked on the moon,
they've got the flag up now and you can see the stars and stripes,
to our International Space Station and Space Shuttle, the American space sector has always moved at the speed of innovation.
Huge opportunity. It's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and the Department of Commerce is going to lead the way.
Through a coordinated whole-of-government approach, the Office of Space Commerce is establishing a certification process that will lead to new technologies and the continued growth of the space sector.
It's a presumption of approval, which means we're looking to help you get in business, to get in space, to launch your satellites, and to create the amazing opportunity that's going to be space. The Department of Commerce is going to lead the way, American innovation is going to drive it, and we are going to launch. We are going to help, and we're going to keep regulations out of the way, make it easy and fast for you to get in space.
Thanks to President Trump's leadership, America is once again investing in innovation.
all engine running.
What's the speed of innovation? And the key word they said in there, or key phrase, was whole of government approach. I'm telling you, when they start saying whole of society, whole of government, watch out, because it's a giant con job. That's the tell right there.
Also, the thing he does with his voice. I hate that thing that he does with his voice, where he's like, he does it like that quizzical question. He's all like, "We're going to see if we can do it. Trump's going to make it happen." You know what I mean? Where he does that thing with his voice. God, it's annoying, but it's definitely when he's smearing a bunch of BS coming out of his mouth, he's definitely doing it.
$1 trillion. That guy, they need to. If we had any type of legitimate government, Howard Lutnick would not be our commerce secretary. Let's just
no, he should be president all the way, 100%, dude. I mean, it's only fair.
Man gets 2 life sentences. Remember this crazy story? The guy finally got his prison time. Remember, dude whacked these Minnesota lawmakers. Man gets 2 life sentences for killing Minnesota lawmaker and husband. Vance Boliter, 59 years old, agreed to plead guilty in June to 6 counts, so federal prosecutors wouldn't seek the death penalty. This dude, remember the weird thing? Allegedly, he went to the house wearing I think it was a Jason mask. Remember he went and whacked him?
I don't know about the details, but I do remember the story vaguely, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he's pled guilty last month, and now he's been sentenced to 2 life sentences, essentially.
That's wild.
He's not getting out anytime soon. Okay.
At least he pled guilty during Pride Month. That was the right thing to do.
A little bit of Epstein news here today. The Democrats on the House Oversight Committee are still trying to make hay out of Epstein. Now they're bringing up Leon Black and Jess Stanley. We'll watch this. There's a couple clips. We'll see. This is head Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, Robert Garcia, targeting these billionaire dudes now. Good buddies with Trump, too.
The reality is he's claiming first that he had no real friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, that is just ridiculous. There is documented evidence, including in the Epstein files and numerous emails, of a decades-long friendship, and not just a friendship, references of being best friends, of close friends. In addition, there's also, I think, more importantly, there are credible accusations from survivors that Mr. Staley was involved in sexual abuse. And he refuses to answer questions honestly about that. He dismisses questions that are being asked. And at the end of the day, we believe these survivors. He has been accused of sexual abuse and is unwilling to talk about or be honest about those instances. He claims he's unaware of Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking activities, which is, again, not credible. This is someone that chose to work with a person that he knew had been convicted already of sex crimes. And so the fact that Mr. Staley continues to lie, evade, and not answer questions is incredibly concerning.
They're talking about Jess Staley, a high-up banker at Barclays Bank. I guess he was also J.P. Morgan.
Yeah.
J.P. Morgan
Bankers are
executive.
cool.
Yeah, they're the good guys. Excuse me.
They were friends, him and the other guy.
He was actually at J.P. Morgan Chase. Excuse me. Sorry, Barclays Bank. I'm sure you got some bankers involved too, but specifically Jess Staley from J.P. Morgan. But they know nothing, just like Epstein's assistant that worked for him for over 18 years. She knew nothing of any wrongdoings. Bill Gates met with him over 30 times. He knew nothing of any wrongdoings, Rucka. So I'm pretty convinced there was no wrongdoings going on here now, aren't you?
But Jeffrey sure knew a lot about Mr. Gates' wiener for some reason.
Let me do a self-promotion plug. It came out today after a long wait. I did a deep dive with Drew TV. What's his channel called here?
Drew TV.
Drew TV. Here's my that went live today. Here's the thumbnail for it. Everybody should go check this out. We do a deep dive into the Epstein files there. The Drew Triglia show. Triglia show. And so anyway, it's that out there live now. I'm going to rip it and probably, I don't know if I'll probably repost it on Weaponized News at some point here in the future, but that's alive on all of the Drew Triglia show. Everybody go check that out. Yeah, they're looking at these bankers. That is the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, because I don't know, no wrongdoing. No, they're all this money. They're trying to say that Jess, that's the guy's name now, even Jess Staley was a major funder of the Epstein operation via JP Morgan Chase.
But they don't ask too many questions about what the money's being used for, you know. Standard.
And again, the department, Todd Blanche is trying to get confirmed to be our U.S. Attorney General to lead the Justice Department. He's actively covering up the Epstein files now. He doxed the victims, put out naked pictures of the victims, and is blocking New Mexico Department of Justice from investigating or cooperating with their investigation into Zorro Ranch there in New Mexico, Epstein's desert hideaway.
He's clearly the right man for the job, so what's the holdup? Let's get this man confirmed already. Chop, chop, pronto.
No, like I said, you got lame duck senators who now have the TDS because Trump, whatever their issues with Trump, he didn't endorse them, they lost, or they're just bowing out, whatever it may be. And they're the ones that are actually using their TDS to maybe the public's advantage here now. And they're holding up this confirmation of Todd Blanche. Cornyn and Tillis specifically here now, Republican U.S. federal senators.
Interesting. Okay.
So they may be using their TDS for good. Like you said, the Lord works in mysterious ways, Ruckus. Never know. All right. What do you make of this ridiculous? The government's just lying to our face, okay, as per usual, about the unemployment numbers. Now, they're telling us, they're putting out these memes. This is the Department of Labor. It came out yesterday that all-time record 105 million Americans are not participating in the labor force. Therefore, they're not even counted in the statistics. And so they can run around and say, oh, we're at 2% unemployment or whatever BS. And it's just simply not true. And I've done deep dives on it, explaining how they changed the calculation in the 80s. And anyway, they're lying to us because over 100 million Americans are not even included in the data. Here's propaganda from the Department of Labor today. The Labor Department, jobs, jobs, jobs. Really?
That's all they got?
Oh, they got this too. From the Labor Department.
That's even worse.
Apprenticeship.gov, Ruckus. Here you go. Department of Labor announces new apprenticeship investments. Apprenticeship.gov. There you go. See? They're helping. They're helping us right there. Grocery prices have risen 2.7% in the past year. I believe it's a lot higher than that. This is official from Yahoo Finance, and are up 32% from pre-bat time levels. I'd say it's probably about closer to 50% actually to pre-bat time levels. And I would say it's a good, I'd say just dead reckoning, quick and dirty, I'd say a good 20% increase this year on average across grocery prices, to give myself some wiggle room there.
I've noticed another trend that's been continuing for a while now, where the packaging and the size of the products get smaller.
Shrinkflation, that's a real thing.
And now, but now they're they're doing it intentionally and marketing it as cool. Like, they're like, what did I see the other? I saw an ad for Oreo ice cream treat things. They're minis. They're these tiny little. I'm like, what the F? I was like, they're going to charge you more for something much smaller, but it's called minis, so it's cool. I guess this is ridiculous.
Well, there is a lot of obese Americans, and diabetes is a problem. So get behind shrinkflation that way. 19% of households in Arkansas lack the resources to put adequate food on the table, according to CNBC, in Trump's golden age here now. And I believe Huckabee's daughter is governor of Arkansas. So all resources should go to aardvarks. Genociding the Palestinians. And so who cares if you can eat in Arkansas? I mean, come on. Breaking, who's this? More Yahoo Finance. They say more than 25% of U.S. working age adults used credit cards to cover grocery costs last year, struggled to repay their bills in full later on. So none of this is pointing toward the golden age. Gold has overtaken U.S. Treasuries and central banks' FX reserves, according to Bloomberg. And then here, this country is in deep trouble. Former head of the CIA, Leon Panetta, sounds the alarm on the Iran war. I guess we could listen to a little bit of this. Or excuse me, he was former head of the CIA and former defense secretary. High up dude, Leon Panetta. Let's watch a little bit of this on fake news CNN.
And CIA director during the Obama administration, Leon Panetta. Sir, good to have you on the show.
Good to be with you, Jim.
So first on the Iran war, because the Trump administration and the president seem to believe they have control here, that they could dial up or dial down military action as they need. But it's actually Iran and its allies that have now expanded this conflict once again to another front, the Houthis attacking shipping in the Red Sea. And I just wonder, from your perspective, who has the upper hand right now in this conflict?
Well, history tells us that forever wars do not end well. And I think
he would know, right?
That's the box we're in right now. Whether it was Vietnam, whether it was Iraq, whether it's Afghanistan, or whether it's Iran right now, the problem is that there really is no clear objective that the president is trying to put his arms around. So he continues military attacks, which intelligence makes pretty clear is not going to move Iran. And at the same time, the American people are paying a very heavy price as a result of oil prices going sky high and the cost of living increasing as much as it is. And so he's basically in a box right now, trying to figure out if there's a way out. And frankly, I think right now, this country is in deep trouble in terms of figuring some kind of strategy that can end this war.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong in anything he said. And I don't get why our hands are tied. We can walk away. It's aardvark land that has us tied there. We can simply walk away as America and say we're done pulling triggers. And I like how they left out the part, it's just the Houthis are just closing the strait. No, they're in a war with Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia just bombed their freaking airport of diplomats that were coming back from old man Khomeini's funeral trying to whack them. And that's what pissed off the Houthis. And they leave all of that context and detail out. It's just, proxy in Yemen of Iran is now shutting the Red Sea. No, they have a good reason why they're going against their Muslim brothers in Saudi Arabia, Ruckus.
And clearly Panetta did not get the memo about trusting the plan. Trust in President Trump. I mean, this is the answer for all of these things. He has all these questions and concerns, and the answer is always the same. Trust.
Ignore the panicans and trust in President Trump.
Thank you. See? It's real easy. It'll be easier after you get the brain chip.
And what I was seeing this news, I think I saw you reposted it, and Simon actually sent it to me as well. The bond market is sending signals that we're in big trouble. It's like the worst. It's the worst. Well, it's signaling before. It's worse now than it was before the 2008 collapse. Too big to fail. Too big.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
The Treasury market is
Trust in
flash.
President Trump.
The Treasury market is flash. Well, the Treasury market is flashing a warning sign for home buyers. Are 7% mortgage rates next? Yeah.
Don't worry, they have a plan to like tokenize your home, and you'll be able to earn like a small percentage off the value of your property once it's tokenized and on the blockchain and owned by BlackRock. You'll be fine. Howard Lutnick says so.
Mortgage rates have jumped 8 basis points to an average of 6.85% today, as of today. Yeah, I would say 7%. 30-year fixed mortgage rate is very, very possible here in the very near future. Foreclosures on the rise nationwide, data shows. That's a report out of ABC. Foreclosure filings increased 71%, all during the bat times between 2020 and 2025. It's fine. At least you didn't get bit by a bat. You may be homeless, but yeah, it's fine.
It's all Biden's fault.
It's Biden's fault. He's the one that did Operation Warp Speed. Everybody knows that. Tesla, Alphabet lose hundreds of billions of dollars in value in post-earnings stock plunge, CNBC reports. There were signs, Ruckus, that some of Google's investments were beginning to pay off, with its cloud revenue jumping 82% year over year in the second quarter. Meanwhile, Tesla is investing in areas from robotics to semiconductors, but for some strange reason, their stock price is falling off the cliff here now. Tesla stock closed 14.5% lower, while Alphabet closed 7.1% lower.
It's because the stock market is rigged.
They're against the brain chips. AI bet goes awry. Oracle fires 21,000 employees. Oracle's laid off 13% of its workforce, of its staff, to fund a $300 billion computing deal with OpenAI, now a credit downgrade, and $7 billion in required power grid guarantees put the massive project in jeopardy. You don't say. But I thought they're the smartest guys in the room, and they have all the intelligence because they are the CIA. So how can they possibly be losing this badly? They were lying the entire. They were lying the entire time. Shocking.
That was Oracle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was Larry Ellison, the Stargate, Trump's Stargate. Yep.
The largest individual donor to the IDF, Larry Ellison.
Neat. I keep forgetting about that. Thanks for reminding me.
He brags about it all the time. He's very proud of it.
Not enough. He needs to do that more.
He's a great American. I mean, aardvark, excuse me. Oracle has signed a 10-year software contract with the Pentagon worth up to $7 billion. See, so they're getting their bailouts one way or another. Of note, CEO Larry Ellison recently gave $45 million to pro-Trump groups and has numerous initiatives with the Trump administration, including a $500 billion Stargate, remember that, AI data center initiative, and its central data security involved with TikTok USA. Remember Stargate at the beginning of the Trump 47 administration? That should have been, they kind of told us right there, Ruckus, right?
No, they did. And then like you just said it there, he invested 40-something million.
45 million to pro-Trump groups, yeah. So
right.
Payoffs, right?
And then the return on his investment, $7 billion. Not bad, sir. Good job. Not bad.
So if you can spin up a couple million, you could buy off much of Congress and turn that into, you can parlay that into billion-dollar contracts. So if you can ever work up a couple million and pay off these politicians, you can leverage that into $1 billion government contracts.
I'm working on it. I've got like $1.88. I'm almost there.
We're getting there. But the hard part is you have to get your startup funding from the CIA.
Oh, okay.
So unless you're already
okay, I do a podcast, and I know that that's one route into the CIA. So that's a good start.
That's the sticking point. You have to get your startup funding from InQtel, and then you can play all the games and buy off your politicians and leverage it into $1 billion Pentagon contracts.
There you go, CIA. If you want to sheep dip me, send me an email to ruckus@alternatecurrentradio. I'm just totally kidding.
Oh, man. I used to have these guys. I don't know who they were. They used to send me emails all the time exposing a lot of this stuff, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, right? And I kept asking them, I kept telling them, come on my show for an interview. They'd send me big old dossiers about technocracy before anybody was even talking about it, right? And they're like, look, here's all the crimes of Google, Apple, blah, 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 all this Silicon Valley stuff, big old dossier reports. And they used to send it all the time to me. And I'd be like, who the hell are you guys? You know what I mean? I don't know you. I never solicited this. Why are you sending me all the crimes of Silicon Valley? And they stopped sending them after a while. And they never agreed to let me even know who they were. So very strange. But I did have that experience.
That is weird.
Yeah. Nobody would ever say who they are or want to come on the show and talk about it. But yeah, it was pretty weird. Okay, the world's most important market is flashing red about the Iran war. Rising oil prices, persistent inflation fears, and shifting expectations for rate hikes are rattling the world's largest bond market, sending treasury yields higher and pushing up borrowing costs for consumers. That's this big report, red light, red light, red light. The 10-year U.S. Treasury yield today rose 4 basis points to 4.71%, the highest level since January 2025, prior to the war with Iran, which started February 28th. And we cover every day here. The 10-year yield dipped below 4%. Renewed tensions between Washington and Iran have pushed oil prices once again higher, with crude surging 7% today and going above $100 per barrel.
I may have mentioned this before, but not even that long ago, I remember we were all sitting on the edge of our seat being warned that, like, once oil hits $100 or more a barrel, that's it, game over. You know what I mean? But now it's like no big deal, right? Whatever, totally fine.
Dozens of America's trading partners, from Europe to China to India, will face new tariffs of 10 to 12.5% on goods shipped to the United States.
Those tariffs are fun. They're like a tax that you never signed up for or something.
They're
like
almost as fun.
Subscription.
They're almost as fun as inflation, the hidden tax. Lockheed Martin raises 2026 forecasts after surge in missile production and war spending. So that's exciting news right there. We're in a wartime economy. Lockheed Martin raised its 2026 revenue and profit outlook today as the Pentagon moves to replenish weapon supplies. Shares for the defense contractor climbed 7% in pre-market trading following the announcement. U.S. President Trump has been pressuring, quote, war companies, defense companies, to expand production as the U.S.-Iran war and the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war have depleted U.S. military stockpiles. So there you go.
That's interesting, because these companies do normally refer to themselves as defense contractors. but we changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War. So did they follow suit? Do they now refer to themselves as war contractors?
No, they still call themselves defense, but I call them war contractors because that's what they are.
I was just curious. Yeah, of course. Yeah, naturally. But yeah, what a strange disconnect right there. Anyway.
Lockheed Martin's Missiles and Fire Control Division saw revenue increase nearly 20% to $4.1 billion, driven by increased production of its PAC-3 and precision strike missiles, both of which have been used during the war on Iran in recent months. The division also benefited from higher output of THAAD missile interceptors after Lockheed secured a $35 billion U.S. government contract last month, June, to quadruple production capacity. So that's exciting news for Lockheed Martin.
And people who are invested. I mean, see, silly me, I believed Trump's promises. I trusted in Trump. So I invested in puppies and kittens and unicorns and flower companies and chocolates because it was going to be a time of peace. I should have been invested in Palantir, Lockheed Martin, AI. Silly me.
Oh, at some point, I created an evil index. And I believe I would have made a lot of money if I would have invested in it. But there's this weird thing. I have a conscience and a soul, and I won't invest in evil. So I missed the boat. I guess I'm just a sucker chump that way.
This is why you don't give investment advice, Sam.
I don't give investment advice. We're just going through the news here. But at a certain point in time, I bet you would have made a lot of money investing in the index of evil. Just saying.
There's probably a bunch of people who do.
Say what?
There's probably a bunch of people who do.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They do. Yes, they do.
Okay, here's the AAA national average for the price of gallon of gasoline. We're now up to $4.09, up 3 cents from yesterday. And it's going to continue to go up as we're bombing Iran right now as we speak. You can see right there. And another one of these key thresholds, as you were saying, Ruckus, the $100 for a barrel of oil and this $4 for a gallon of gasoline here in America. Key thresholds we're blowing past that all the lights start flashing red. It's a crisis. All key indicators are bright red, screaming right now. We are in trouble. A la Leon Panetta. What did he say? He said, this country is in deep trouble. You better believe that. Okay. Brown University, as we report here every day, consumer cost burden since the beginning of the Iran war. They're catching up. I believe it is more than this, but we're at $72.8 billion now since the Iran war began on February 28, 2026. And then per U.S. household, cost burden spread across gasoline and diesel up to $556.03 there. So, but we are killing Iranians. So there is that.
Well, good. Got to be killing somebody for that much money, right? You better be.
Not very many Iranians, though. Surprisingly.
Yeah, I know. It's like, wow, what the hell? Anyways, pick it up the pace, would you?
5 vessels now, according to Windward, one of these tracking outfits that's tracking traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. They say five vessels crossed in the past 24 or past 12 hours there in the Strait of Hormuz.
500?
5.
5,000. Oh, just 5.
5.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I guess that's better than 0. Better than 0. Dan Bongino 0.
Before we started bombing Iran, it was 125 to 140 on average per day crossings. We're down to 5. And you have to take
winning.
Hashtag winning. You have to take the Iranian route or they shoot you in the face. And then if you do that, America may shoot you in the face. So it's extremely high risk to drive through that very dangerous neighborhood with guns pointed at everybody's face.
It's only bad if you're afraid of being shot in the face. Otherwise, it's perfectly fine.
It's essentially closed. IRGC says it's closed. And this right here is how I'm requesting Ruckus report from his next data center report. Here's a Iranian reporter there with a sniper rifle.
بله سلام به شما و سلام به همه بینندگان. امروز یک دسته من مانند
Can we get you to report from the local data center this way?
Well, yeah, probably not. Not a good idea. I don't even like to flash my gun on air because YouTube doesn't like that.
I hear you. I don't know. You don't have nothing. Didn't you lose all that in a boat accident?
Yeah, something like that. Alongside my shares of Lockheed Martin. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not invested in Lockheed Martin.
Oh man! So that was Iranian state TV reporter. He's now carrying around a sniper rifle and brand.
Hey man, I mean, you got to be careful these days in certain parts of the world as a reporter. We all know that, right? I mean, gosh darn, in some cases, you are literally a target. God only knows why.
Yeah, so they're now Iranian state TV is required to carry around sniper rifles. I don't know if they're required, but he did in this report. Oh my gosh!
Full like battalion escort. He should be like broadcasting on top of a tank, wearing the helmet and all that. Yeah, that'd be fun.
He works for the state of Iran. Okay, Yemen Houthis, they're getting in the social media game here, rolling out AI animation of its naval blockade against Saudi Arabia. They're jumping in the game, waiting for some Lego videos coming out of the Houthis next. Let's watch this short video mocking Saudi Arabia.
الحصار بالحصار.
These guys, these crazy Houthis.
I like that classic animation look better, I think.
Yeah. So there's a giant Ukraine-Russia war going on here. EU approves 21st round of Russian sanctions targeting banks and energy revenues. The European Union approved earlier today a 21st round of sanctions on Russia. So the sanctions are working, right? The 21st round.
They must be working, otherwise why do so many of them, right?
Increasing restrictions on Russian lenders and on oil and gas trade. See, that's the whole sticking point with the EU, Europe, is they're schizophrenic in their foreign policy, because how can you sanction the guys you're buying energy from, right? That's like the conundrum there, but somehow schizophrenically they rationalize it in their little EU dictator heads, and they're sanctioning Russia one more time, while also simultaneously trying to buy energy from Russia. Very schizophrenic.
Yeah, man. How much of this is wrestling?
Yeah. And Joe blows, you and I suffer the consequences.
And the meat grinder going on. The Ukrainians and Russians, young men, older men too, in certain instances.
Thankfully, despite all the rhetoric, despite all the KFAB professional wrestling narratives and all this nonsense, at least we're still talking. Little Marco Rubio and Foreign Minister out of Russia, Lavrov, did meet face-to-face on the sidelines of ASEAN meeting they just had. Foreign Minister Lavrov out of Russia told Little Marco Rubio that continued Western weapons supplies to Ukraine are unacceptable to Moscow. It's the same thing that we've been hearing there now.
Yeah, the threat of looming World War III just doesn't hit the same as it used to. It's just like every day it's like, oh, everything could pop off tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah, whatever. It's so sad that they've got us so, like, used to this. It's insane.
They've normalized thermonuclear war, essentially, or at least the rhetoric of that. Sputnik News reported that Lavrov reaffirmed Russia's commitment to the proposal floated by the United States during the Alaska talks, while drawing a red line on continued Western arms flows to Kiev, warning Rubio that more weapons mean more escalation.
Usually that's how that works, right? I'm not a war historian or expert by any means, but that's usually how that works.
You mean you shoot the guy on the other side in the face and they want to shoot you back in the face?
Yeah, and then in modern warfare now we just ignore all of that and go straight for the civilians.
Because somehow, I don't know who came up with this theory. It doesn't work, obviously, through practice, that if you bomb enough civilians, somehow that's going to piss off the rest that are still alive to go overthrow their government that you're bombing. And somehow this is not going to rally the people in that country you're bombing to want to get revenge against you because you just killed their whole family. It's going to make you want to take revenge on your own government. It's not working, bro.
It's ironic that a three-letter agency whose middle name is intelligence is not very intelligent at all.
We've seen it play out in practice. It's not working. It's not working. I'm sorry, but killing civilians to get them to go overthrow their own government is just pissing them off against us that much more. Eye for an eye, head for an eye, whole body for an eye, bro. I mean, come on. Thankfully, Ruckus, we got independent reporter Laura Loomer is in Ukraine interviewing Zelensky.
Do we have to?
We kind of do, because she went and did it. Here it is. I'm not going to play any of but here's the proof of life. There they are. Strange. And you know what's the unifying factor between them? They're both aardvarks, coincidentally enough.
Well, just a coincidence, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
These things happen.
And they're both faking gay, too. Oh, I added that part. Excuse me. Well, we'll censor that part out.
I'll stand by that. That's fine.
China is using its partnership with Russia to gain battlefield experience and advanced military know-how from the Ukrainian war. You better believe that, including drone tactics, submarine strength technology, missile defense, and intelligence. So they're studying everything we're doing there in China. You better believe that. And that's a report out of The Economist. And so China's just sitting back watching right now saying, spin your wheels, America, spin them. And that's exactly what we're doing. And China's sitting there taking all this in and preparing their own strategy against America.
We're learning a lot ourselves from the Ukraine-Russia conflict, similarly in a different way. We're throwing all of our old equipment and missiles and stuff there at the first get-go, and now we can get all the fresh new ones going. It's good for jobs. But yeah, and study all the new different tactics and how Skynet, I'm sorry, not Skynet, what's it called? Starlink, that's right. What's the difference? Yeah, how they're being used in warfare. So China's just observing from a distance. We've been pumping the funding into this little beta test, as it were, yeah?
We're putting on the show for them to analyze and come back when it's time for the show with us. What do you make of this, Ruckus? Trump ties Saudi nuclear deal to normalization with Aardvark land. It just doesn't work, bro. These are like blood enemies since the beginning of history. So forcing these Muslims to be friends with the Aardvarks, it just is never going to work. I'm sorry to say. I wish we could have world peace. I just don't see it happening. They have to brutally oppress their own people to even be in power. And because Joe Blow Muslim is not going along with this program.
That sounds like a them problem.
We made it an our problem because we're signing off on them having nuclear for civil use, allegedly.
Well, gosh darn it, maybe we should have just kept out of it all along. Who started the war again?
Houthis in Yemen.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, at least it wasn't us. No, clearly, obviously, we did the first strikes against the Iranian schoolgirls, but whatever.
And we killed their supreme leader. And he's like
that guy, he wasn't that important. Not that many people liked him anyways, Sam.
He's like the Muslim Pope.
That's actually a poor representation of it, yeah. But yeah, he was very well liked, obviously, and he was actually he really was the one thing that was preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon. Go figure.
Trump earlier today declared that the newly announced agreement with Saudi Arabia for a civilian nuclear program will be conditional on the kingdom normalizing relations with Aardvark land through the Abraham Accords. So again, nuclear blackmail, essentially here now. Trump wrote on Truth Social that the civil nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia will be approved, but is totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the very respected and successful Abraham Accords. It's not respected or successful.
I thought they were going to say you had to join Trump's peace board thing.
That's probably next. Probably next.
With the fee. There's a giant fee to join, right?
Mm-hmm. Another racketeering operation by Trump.
They could afford it,
Malaysia, majority big Muslim country, Malaysia rejected U.S. pressure to reverse its ban on Aardvark citizens, with Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim saying the government would continue deporting any aardvarks found in its territory. 8 U.S. lawmakers, including Democrat Congressman Greg Landsman and Josh Gottheimer, had urged Secretary of State Rubio to suspend military training funding and cooperation over the policy. So they say no aardvarks in Malaysia. You're out of here.
Hey, that's their business, but we'll probably have to go bomb them or something.
They're on the list. So there's giant wildfires in France now. France plunges into apocalypse as fiery wildfire shallows 76,000 plus acres of forest near Bordeaux. 20,000 French were forced to evacuate.
First Canada, now France. What do they have in common? Both French-speaking. Any other French-speaking countries out there? You better be careful. Watch your butts.
Watch your butts, because arson, dare I say? No, it's climate change spontaneous.
Arson.
Here's a little bit about the U.S. Southcom put out a great little video here about the war on drugs. There's a giant war on drugs going on right now. Very underreported. They say precision-driven dominance. The U.S. military is on watch in the Caribbean in support of the Department of War, directed operations, and the president's priorities to disrupt illicit drug trafficking, deter malignant actors, and protect the homeland. Let's watch this short clip about U.S. Southcom war on drugs. So that's exciting, Ruckus.
How do I join?
Department of War is now putting out gifts. And think of this. Somebody's going to take responsibility they don't want to about whacking those 100.
I hate to be that guy. I'm sorry, but it's GIF. Anyways.
The GIF. No, the GIF. Here's Department of War GIF. They say the Department of War doesn't miss. Well, explain whacking those 168 school kids. Huh? Here's the GIF from the Department of War. We've moved up from memes to GIFs now, Ruckus. Of course, I do believe that's the Lucas drone right there. They're advertising. But explain then to me, Department of War, who whacked those 168 school kids?
Well, it certainly wasn't Grok. Well, it might have been Grok. We don't know yet.
Trump on Venezuela. Trump says Energy Secretary Chris Wright is running Venezuela. Let's watch this short clip. After we stole their president, oil, and gold. And now reports yesterday can't account for what, $13 billion in oil revenue, in Venezuelan oil revenue. We don't know where the money went, mysteriously enough.
Chris Wright, I said, who the hell is that? Turned out to be this guy right over here. And he's turned out to be incredible, really incredible. He's running Venezuela. He's running a lot of more than.
Our energy secretary is running Venezuela. That's exactly democracy and what the Venezuelan people voted for, Ruckus.
This is exactly how it's outlined in the Constitution, I think. It's been a long time since I read that musty old document.
It says Energy Secretary of America runs Venezuela.
That's what I thought.
It says that. And I just can't even believe this. And we have a right to kidnap any president we want and accuse them.
Definitely.
Publicly accuse them of being fentanyl traffickers, but not actually indict them for that after a large months and months, years-long demonization campaign.
It's the American way.
True enough. On to the pyramid building there that we've been talking about the last couple of days on this show. There, the parliament in Iran. Let's take a look. And here you go. This is the best image that I can find on the internet from their from the architect that helped build it. Here you go. Looks pretty pyramid-y, Freemasonry to me. What do you think about that, Ruckus?
It's very interesting. Did you say you found out who built it? Who the architect is?
You have to search to get this image. This is the architect's website. It's in Persian. I translated it into English. But yeah, to get that image here is the architect firm there in Iran that built it. Is the only place I can find this image.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's curved. It's not like a normal type of pyramid. There might be a reason they designed it that way, or they could just be because they're just weird. The skater in me looks like, well, I look like I could skate that. I'm like, it looks like a weird ramp to me, but that's just me.
Imagine getting on the top of that thing and writing it down.
Yeah, that's what I just pictured in my head.
Here's another angle. I think the other one was better, but this is the one you get on Wikipedia.
Now that angle looks really weird. It looks like it's twisted.
It does, huh? But you can make out the pyramid here, right? Clearly.
Yeah.
Or triangle pyramid looking. That's the Iran Parliament building. I wonder why we don't bomb that, Ruckus.
Well, I was going to say maybe there's a functional reason they designed it this way. Maybe that's how they defend themselves from space lasers.
They should paint it blue, no?
Yeah, well, I think that's just a conspiracy theory.
What is up with Iraq president. He just earlier this week, had a big meeting, and we're buddies with Trump, and said that they're going to go ahead and round up the firearms there in Iraq held by Iranian proxy groups today. He's over there meeting with Iran, good buddies. So somebody's lying here. Feels like everybody's playing all sides and everything in between. It's here they are meeting up. Iraq president and Iran president earlier today, they had a big meeting. He doesn't meet Trump that way, just saying. That seemed pretty gay. They're not giving a kiss on the cheek when they're meeting up with Trump, but these guys are. President of Iran, Peshtian, and Al-Zadi, president or prime minister of Iraq.
Very civilized and European of them, actually.
It was very white of them, huh?
Yeah, it was like not like what you would expect from like these savages that are animals and they're weird, the weird religion or something.
How about this, Ruckus? Do you have access to a public bomb shelter in your area?
I hope so. I don't know. Maybe. We have a siren that goes off every 11 o'clock a.m. every Saturday. It goes off. It's like a
air raid siren.
Yeah, an air raid siren.
But do they tell you? Do they tell you what to do if it's not a drill?
Nope. Took me forever to like the first, because when I moved here, nobody told me that goes on. Of course, I didn't know much about the trains, which are insane, but you get used to the trains after a while. But you do notice the trains when you're first out here. But like the air raid siren caught me off guard. I was like, what the hell is this? And everyone's like, oh yeah, they do that once a week. And then it took me a while to figure out. I'm like, yeah, not just once a week. They do it every week, like clockwork, literally at 11 a.m. And I'm like, without fail. If it ever once didn't happen, I would probably freak out. But no idea what to do, what it means, nothing. It just happens I'm like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. Yeah, if it's a Saturday, I know what time it is. Yay for me.
When we're actually getting bombed, they probably won't.
No, I don't imagine any of these things work when they're supposed to. I think it's supposed to be like an early detection warning for tornadoes too or something. I don't know.
I don't know where I'm at. I've heard. Well, I talked to a guy. There's a place called Manchester Mall here, which was a big mall, still is a big mall, but the malls have pretty much been defunct. Anyway, I used to know a guy that worked maintenance there, and it's right in the center of Fresno. And he told me, like 4 stories down underneath this mall, there is a giant bomb shelter. As far as who has access to it and can you make it there? Good freaking luck. But I don't even know 100%. I'm just taking this maintenance worker that used to work at the mall's word for it. I think he's probably telling the truth, but it's like from the 1950s, you know what I mean? And so I bring all this up to tell you that Ramat Gan, east of Tel Aviv, has opened all public bomb shelters after security assessments pointed to a heightened risk of Iranian missile strikes.
Well,
they all get bomb shelters paid for by U.S. tax money. We get jack squat over here. Air raid sirens that probably won't even work if we're actually bombed.
We're going to be fine because they've got the bomb shelters. They'll all go in them. They'll be nice and safe when Iran spends the last 9% of the missiles that they have left, because we destroyed 91% of them. So it can't be that many of them. Let them take the hits. They'll be safe because they got the bomb shelters. And then since we don't have the bomb shelters, it's okay, because after this, Iran will no longer have any missiles to aim at us, because clearly that's the next phase in this, right? They want to target America with all of their weapons. So they want to build the bomb and nuke us or something, right? Why are we afraid of them again? I forgot.
They were going to nuke New York in 2 weeks if we didn't do a regime change.
Would that be such a bad thing? I'm just saying. I mean, don't come at me, New York. Sorry, but Texas over here.
Also, Netanyahu's been saying the same routine for the last 30 years, and Trump's the first administration to buy this BS.
Well, maybe.
On to Lebanon now. A Lebanese official told Al Jazeera that the Lebanese army has not received any maps or coordinates from Washington identifying locations suspected to contain weapons because they made a deal they're going to go disarm Hezbollah. The source said there is ongoing daily coordination between the Lebanese and U.S. military. U.S. military is boots on the ground in Lebanon. Through a joint committee and the U.S. Embassy, adding that Washington should guarantee the prevention of any renewed Aardvark land strikes targeting the Lebanese army. The official also said that the army has received U.S. assurances that the designated pilot areas were where it is operating would not be targeted. According to the source, the purpose of the pilot areas is to ensure they do not pose a security threat and are free of any military activity. However, the official said Lebanon has not been informed of any specific timeline for completing work in the 3 pilot areas. The source added that establishing a timetable for Aardvark land troop withdrawals and ending Aardvark land attacks would help advance efforts to place all weapons under state control. You think? So riddle me this, Ruckus. How do you get Lebanese army to go disarm the Hezbollah militia when Aardvark land is actively attacking Lebanese civilians? How do you square that circle for Washington?
I can't come up with something. Maybe Mike Huckabee could come up with something.
He is the ambassador. Sure. It is his job. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got nothing, though. I'm sorry. Good luck.
What a freaking nightmare. And the demolition campaign against...
Krispy Kreme donuts. There you go. I just bribed them with Krispy Kreme donuts. I know it sounds crazy, but if you've had Krispy Kreme donuts, it might work.
Maybe, or give them diabetes one way or another. Here's a large controlled demolition in Kafr Tebnet, southern Lebanon. It's ongoing scorched earth demolition, controlled demolition campaign. Quite the demolition there in southern Lebanon, Ruckus. Damn.
It's funny because the noise probably had nothing to do with the demolition. It was just wind blowing on the microphone.
Probably. Okay. I didn't see much reports of, I think they stopped at least, we're not stacking Lebanese bodies as much as we have been in the past couple of weeks. So I guess that's a good deal, but there's still this weird ceasefire that's not a ceasefire, and the Lebanese government keeps making all these deals, but yet the Aardvark land army ignores all those deals and continues to seize Lebanese territory. It's where we're at.
And
Aardvark land banks to end key services to Palestinian banks. Aardvark land banks have notified their Palestinian counterparts that they plan to terminate key banking services within weeks, according to Aardvark land and Palestinian officials, fueling concerns over potential economic crisis in the occupied West Bank. The banking relationships are vital for processing payments for imports from Aardvark land into Palestinian territories, including electricity, water, fuel, and food, as well as transferring salaries earned by Palestinians employed by Aardvark land. Palestinian banking officials told AFP that 5 Palestinian banks relying on Aardvark land's bank Hapo Alim for correspondent banking services are expected to lose access on August 13th. They're cutting off everything. They're taking all of it here now. And this is one of the steps in that process.
Well, Gavir was just saying they're going to do that. They're like, if you had told me we would control 60% or anything, he's like, we're taking the whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, that's not going to. I mean, like, if you're expecting to be like, okay, this is far enough, and you guys are cool with us, and we get to stay, and we might consider this 2-state whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's no intention from Aardvark land to allow these people to remain. Obviously, come on now. So yeah, what's that called again? It starts with the letter G. I forgot. Anyway,
ethnic cleansing and genocide.
That's the one.
Aardvark land strikes hit homes and industrial facility and a mosque across Gaza over roughly the past 90 minutes. That was earlier today, so we'll say the past 12 hours. According to Shihab News, in Gaza City, an airstrike hit a house, wounded 2 people. A separate strike in Abu Samara, a family home, also wounding 2 people, including a woman. A strike targeting an industrial facility in Zetoun neighborhood, causing several injuries. And they just go through in detail more of it. There's video of nighttime explosions there. In Gaza, 3 Palestinians killed by Aardvark land forces in Nablus and Jinnah, including a 16-year-old. Earlier today, there are the 3 Palestinians here. No longer with us. And Palestinian Ministry of Health reports 5 Palestinians were killed, 3 in new attacks, and 2 due to wounds sustained in earlier attacks, and 6 were injured in attacks across Gaza yesterday. A new body was also recovered from underneath the rubble. Since October 11th, the so-called ceasefire, Aardvark land has killed at least 1,185 Palestinians in Gaza and wounded 3,816. The official recorded death toll since October 7, 2023 has now risen to 73,311. We did get some 33 columns in there, Ruckus. Dead Palestinians and 173,924 injured. Yeah, it's all quite horrific.
I missed parts of the show yesterday. Did you happen to play the new Corbett video, the 10-7 video?
No.
Did you see it?
I did see it, and I did not play it.
If you have it handy, you should include it on today's show.
Really? Can you find it for me?
Of course I can.
Well, Ruckus is looking for that. We'll continue on more terrorism by the ultra-Zionist settlers in the occupied West Bank. A Palestinian were shot at by Aardvark land ultra-Zionist settlers during a raid on Bent Furk, east of Nablus in the occupied West Bank. The Palestinian Red Crescent said its crews treated 2 people with gunshot wounds to the abdomen during the raid. Local sources later reported that the settler opened fire on 4 Palestinians, wounding them, and also shot another settler during the incident. They're even shooting their own crew. They're complete psychos. And then this one, as we continue to report, they're trying to provocateur the Muslims to make a move by desecrating their 3rd highest holy site, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is set at some point in time for demolition to build out the 3rd temple, Solomon's 3rd temple, to fulfill their evil prophecies there, as we've gone over it.
That's a big shoe to drop for sure right there.
That's going to be a big one. Probably, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a big one.
There could be 2 incredibly huge, significant events that would just like tip all of this into like OMG territory. which that's one of them on that side of the world. And on our side of the world, because by now I'm sure you've seen Trump saying something to the effect in a recent interview that if something were to happen to him, because he's been convinced Iran is out to get him or whatever, well, Iran has said so. They put a hit on the guy, right? So he says that he's left orders for them to just strike Iran with I think he said to nuke him or something. I'm like, what the heck? I mean, like, it's just so, yeah, don't be surprised if there's some crazy stuff that goes down. 2 major events could happen this year, and that would suck.
Ultra Zionist settlers here now they've raided the Al-Aqsa Mosque, essentially. How many do they say? 1,200, something like this, 1,300. Quite a few of them. Large numbers of ultra-Zionist settlers have gathered outside the gate there ahead of planned evening incursion into the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Here's the video of that. And again, they're trying to provocateur the Muslims into attacking. And then, of course, they'll say they're terrorists. And off to the races we go. A bunch more excuses and reasons for killing those damn Muslims. So all those guys are at the gate waiting to get in, and they're escorted in there by armed agents of Aardvarkland. Here they are in a highly provocative act. Ultra-Zionist settlers raise Aardvarkland flag and sing the Aardvarkland national anthem in the courtyard of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. They're literally saying, make a move, Muslim. You know what I mean? They're literally trying to get them to make a move on them by this action. And so all of that is designed to disrespect the Muslims at the 3rd highest holy site to try to push them into confrontation.
They do this a lot. And
yeah,
it's fairly interesting. We'll just use that word, I suppose, that the Muslims seem to keep their cool and not react. Huh. Which is weird because we all know they're a bunch of, like, you know, haters and they want to kill everybody or something.
They're a bunch of insane terrorists that blew up the Twin Towers on 9/11, Ruckus.
So how come we're not seeing them out there getting into some fisticuffs over this? I don't get it. It's weird.
Jordan, because they're smart enough to realize that all of this is provocation. Jordan, who's the custodian of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, Jordan condemns Ben Gvir's Al-Aqsa Mosque incursion, calls raising Aardvarkland flags a blatant violation. Jordan's foreign minister condemned the latest storming of the Al-Aqsa Mosque by Ben Gvir and other members of the Knesset and ultra-Zionist settlers under Aardvarkland police protection, i.e. men with guns, describing it as a blatant violation of the mosque's history and legal status and a desecration of its sanctity and an unacceptable provocation. Exactly what I've been saying. It also denounced the continued incursions by ministers, lawmakers, and extremist settlers, as well as the Aardvarkland police facilitating the raids there. Yeah.
I love that extremist settlers is a thing. That's just crazy.
I call them ultra-Zionists per the BBC because that's what they called them in a documentary they did about it.
Yeah, it's a little less incendiary of a term, I suppose, but could probably get you more in trouble. Which is more of the anti-Semitic term? Probably the Zionist thing, right?
I don't know. Talk to the BBC. I'm just using their language. Okay, that's all the reporting. Let's play that. You did send me that. This is James Corbett Are we going to get in trouble for this? It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. So
he famously, what was it? What was the title?
This is the follow-up to 9/11, a conspiracy theory. He finally did 10/7, a conspiracy theory.
There you go. Thank you for the set. Thank you for the setup there. Let me. Where the heck are we? Oh, I got lost in the tabs. So yeah, this is the great James Corbett out there. Corbett Report.
Find this video, everybody. I'm sure you'll include this in the show notes. Spread this everywhere, far and wide. Help it go as viral as the first one did. I'm sure James would love that to happen.
Remind me again about what was the name of the 9/11 one he did?
It was just like that, 9/11, a conspiracy theory. That was its simple term.
Here's 10/7 in 5 minutes, Corbett Report.
On the morning of October 7th, 2023, approximately 6,000 Hamas soldiers flying paragliders and riding motorcycles skirted around the most heavily defended security wall in the world, somehow evading the fences, observation towers, cameras, sensors, barbed wire, and remote-controlled machine guns dividing Israel and Gaza. These 6,000 madmen, who trained for their dastardly sneak attack in full view of the IDF for months, then proceeded to roam around the Israeli countryside for hours with complete impunity, killing hundreds of Israeli civilians and not, beheading babies and not, raping women while IDF forces watched, because those IDF soldiers had been ordered to stand down that morning.
All stations, I don't know why, I don't know how, something along those lines. No patrol on the fence. And this was at 5:20 in the morning. All stations are to hold their positions.
Then the IDF sprung into action by implementing a policy to kill their own citizens in the event of a hostage situation.
אני חושב שבאופן טקטי במקומות שונים ניתנה, ובמקומות אחרים לא ניתנה, וזו בעיה.
Luckily, the news anchors knew exactly what had happened within minutes.
Now, the Israeli military says this infiltration came by land, by sea, and by air in the form of Hamas gunmen on paragliders.
The U.S. Senate knew within hours.
And Iran is teamed up with Hamas, is what we are hearing.
And the Israeli government knew within the day.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה. לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה.
But for some reason, a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists began to ask questions about the most startling security failure in the history of the most heavily defended border in the world.
So the idea that Hamas could infiltrate about 20 communities inside Israel and attack the citizens without
simultaneously
any immediate response from Israel is extraordinary.
It is absolutely extraordinary.
Those conspiracy theorists dared to ask why the border guards were told to stand down that morning, why Unit 8200 provided no geolocation data to security forces despite Hamas fighters using phones and radios inside Israel for hours, why the IDF ignored alerts of Hamas aerial activity hours before the attack took place, and why the Prime Minister, Defense Minister, and IDF chief didn't even speak with each other until 4 hours into the crisis. But they're just anti-Semitic loons, so they would ask those questions. Even so, the IDF provided answers to all the hard questions in their comprehensive after-action report, concluding that the Israeli army had failed in its mission to protect Israeli civilians, because no one could have predicted Hamas's intentions and readiness for a wide-scale surprise attack. Except for the Egyptian government, Israeli military intelligence, and the IDF's own Border Defense Corps. The Northern Brigade and Gaza Division had no coordination with the police, and the IDF didn't even know the Nova Music Festival was under attack for 3 hours, but that's okay because they were probably all trying their best. The police documents about the security for the Nova Music Festival were deleted by unknown individuals months after the attacks, but that's okay because it's probably just part of routine record keeping. A Columbia Law School paper found traders informed about the coming attacks profited from these tragic events, but the original paper made a currency error that didn't affect the conclusion, so there's probably nothing to see here. This man never existed, nor is anything he had to say worthy of your attention, and if you say otherwise, you are a paranoid conspiracy theorist and deserve to be shunned by all of humanity. Likewise him, and her. And her, and her, and him. After the dust settled, we were reliably informed that, like the false flag events of
December 7th, 1941,
and the false flag events of
September 11th, 2001, October 7th is a day that will forever live in infamy.
As a result, the Israeli forces made up for their error by gently and proportionately leveling Gaza, killing 75,000 civilians, blockading humanitarian aid, massacring people begging for food, telling people to move to areas that were then bombed, bombing hospitals that Hamas fighters were not occupying, and destroying the vast underground Hamas supervillain bunker that didn't exist. This is the story of 10/7, brought to you by the same media which told you the hard truths about the best Biden ever, and 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and AI-generated rat penises, and the USS Liberty. If you have any questions about this story, you are a terror-loving anti-Semitic libtard who deserves to be deported regardless of citizenship status. If you love the government of Israel and/or peace, tranquility, cooperation, fresh bagels, and this adorable baby, you will never express doubts about any part of this story to anyone. Ever. This has been a public service announcement by the Friends of the IDF, the Epstein Influence Network, AIPAC, the ADL, the Israeli government spokespeople in the media, and the Likudniks.
The GOAT, right there, James Corbett.
So that brings me back to the beginning of the show, Ruckus. What do we do with Tucker? We got it. He's way out there in right field.
I've mentioned this here and on other programs. I think he's part of the next wave of people they're trying to prop up as the intended heroes that are going to buck against the system. He's an outsider. He's not like these other guys. He's different. Yeah. Careful with that. That's what they said about Trump. That's what they said about RFK Jr.
Didn't all of these big right-wing conspiracy guy influencer, didn't they all campaign, and they're a major reason why Trump's in office right now?
Hey, well, there's an argument to be made there. This is why politics is stupid, especially when you're relying on two parties. It's garbage. I saw some people probably wondering about us. Are they Democrats? Are they conservatives? We're probably neither. I'm a constitutionalist, but I usually identify as conservative. Personally, I would never associate as a Democrat. And right now, I want nothing to do with Republicans. Not that I ever did, but again, I'm slightly right of center, which is exactly where the Constitution is. Go figure.
Go figure. All right, that's all we got. Let's go to the latest headlines out of Iran International. Have we blown up Iran yet? We're trying, allegedly. U.S. threatens massive attack. Financial punishment against Iran. 4 killed in U.S. missile strike near Ahvaz, IRGC says. CENTCOM says U.S. completes 13th night of strikes on Iran. They're getting pretty efficient. About 2 hours it takes them to do their bombing campaigns. I'm figuring out here on a daily basis. On day 13 of consecutively bombing Iran.
There's a new naming convention for your show if you want to avoid the days of war. Just do days that we're bombing them. There you go.
I was gonna change the name of the show to "We're Bombing Iran" now, like every day. Used to be big news. It's just like, yeah, we're bombing Iran again. You know what I mean?
You might get more views. You never know.
Air defenses activated in eastern Tehran. Explosions reported across several parts of Iran. State media says there. It's just an ongoing disaster. We're in a lot of trouble, i.e. Panetta here.
I didn't know that guy was still alive, by the way. I was like, this guy, he's still around? He looked much older since the last time I saw him, too.
Those high dudes, I don't know. Kissinger lived to be 100. I think he's way higher than in the whole grand scheme of global control, but he lived to be 100. You know what I mean? So,
true.
Okay, Al Jazeera, latest headlines. Trump weighs massive attack as Iran foreign minister blasts mindless aggression. That's about it. We covered everything else here. No reports of whacking any major Iranian leadership. That's kind of what I was looking for. I've been waiting for him to whack, the top guys. They're Ghalibaf, Ardachai, the new Khomeini, the new supreme leader, Khomeini's second son. Like, I've been waiting to see some major announcements about whacking those guys, and we haven't seen that. So I guess next up is targeting civilian infrastructure per Trump.
The way Trump thinks, because the other thing is, like, they should at least probably be trying to shut down the explosive media Lego stuff that they've been doing, right? The Lego propaganda videos coming from Iran. How come they're just still out there? I mean, like, you want to tell me they couldn't, like, track that down or shut that down or do something, you know what I mean? Like, they just let it happen? It's great. I'm like, I don't understand why. Maybe because it is the wrestling thing.
Kind of feels
the way
that
Trump
way.
thinks is he would bomb the Lego makers. He would bomb Lego itself in response to the Lego videos. That was the point I was going to make. Damn it, I'm tired.
You have to explain to Trump, Ruckus, that it's not Lego. These are AI videos. They're not using
I can
real
see that.
Legos.
I can totally see him doing this kind of thing. You know what I mean? He seems like he's really lost his mind.
All right, that's all the reporting we got. Give us a like, share, subscribe, push the notification button. On to the channels now. Shout out to the Odysee channel over there in the chat there. I see Fat Bob over there. He says, Space Race 2, Sam. SpaceX shot off another rocket the other day. Fox couldn't... I can't say that. I can't say what you're saying there, but he said Fox got extremely excited. There. John on the Odysee says Trump gave the 666 in that photo with the Cowboys in the background. Huh. Interesting. Let's see here. This sounds like some PR company. Ruckus, you have a unique Zuckerberg brand of AI optimized data center in your backyard. Makes me really appreciate Bud Abbott more and more. Scheinbaum FIFA 2. Oh, man. Fat Bob says, Sam is on target about the depopulation agenda, but how it is rolled out, they don't care. They just want and can wait all day long. Yeah. And they're talking. He says you have the audacity to challenge our outer space narratives. Oh my gosh. Smack a new. Oh, shout out to Vegas there. Pink Vegas says mind control. And we got a new commenter, Smack Your Apocalypse, with funny spelling. Says, who's Sam co-host? It's Ruckus. Okay, thank you. Well, so they're tracking you. Smack Your Apocalypse is tracking you on Odysee now.
Who, me?
Yeah, well, they wanted to know who you were.
I'm not even on Odysee, so track me all you like.
33% of cattle have pre-diabetes. 33%.
33. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Larry spoke at the White House with Trump. It's Biden's fault. Lock up Hillary. 33 windows. Do they have 33 windows? We didn't count the windows at the...
Oh, and that thing. Okay, see, now that's a different story. Speaking of stories, there's a 33-story building in New York that used to be owned by the PFIZ company, which is like having structural damage and could potentially fall down at any moment if it hasn't already.
I remember that story. Yeah, what happened to that building? It's still like the beams inside are like bent, right? We used Great American.
They're repairing it, and just yesterday, while the people were inside, something fell apart inside, and they had everybody get out. So it could be going down any minute. I don't know.
But do they have a big old insurance policy on it?
We'll have to ask Lutnick.
We'll have to ask Larry Silverstein about that. Oh, man. The Patriot portfolio would have been a popular product, Huffman says. Shout out to Huffman. It would have been. I called it when I was cooking it up. The evil index is what I was calling it. But yeah, you could package it, sure, as the Patriot portfolio.
You should have done a play on Axis of Evil and done Index of Evil.
Fighting war while under the influence of drugs is not advised. Yeah, yeah, you'll get gone quick early that way for sure. I don't know. Nazis took over all of Europe, essentially all hyped up on amphetamines. You know what I mean? So, and America too, right? Not spoken about much, but America does have the pep pills for our troops. Make no mistake about that.
Ever heard somebody going berserk? You should do a research into the etymology of that word and have fun.
So, but it does end badly to be strung out on amphetamines and killing people. I don't recommend it. And I also don't recommend having an AI chatbot therapist. Be warned here now. All right, friends, thank you for tuning in to Odysee, X, Kick, BitChute, Substack, Rumble, YouTube. Let's go over there and see how the YouTube audience came across today, Ruckus. Let's go about halfway up. Quite a few in the chat on the YouTube. Let's go to Grab Granny, another dumb bot. We seem to attract quite a few bots. I guess that's just the thing. I saw reports. What do you think of those reports, Ruckus? That over half the internet is no longer humans, and dead internet theory is a real thing. And so apparently to some reports, I saw multiple ones. They're claiming that over 50% of the traffic on the internet is bots. What do you think of that?
Oh, I believe it. I understand how they measure these things, and yeah, that's legit. The other big thing too about that story that a lot of people missed is that it's also true. There's a huge, well over 50%. I can't remember what percentage exactly. I don't have the story in front of me. Wikipedia. So more bots are scanning Wikipedia than actual human readers. So, I mean, again, if you're not already vetting your sources and your information and following through, but now you're not even doing that at all, it's the bot that's doing it. So now the reason is the bot's crawling. Usually the increase in this is because people don't leave their OpenAI, their chat bot. So they just ask for an answer. The chat bot scrapes the web, or it's already scraped the web. The bots are continuously teaching the LLMs, and it just spits back the answer to the user. So the user themselves doesn't even go to the websites anymore. So that's why human traffic, the bot traffic was already increasing, but now, because of the certain type of bot traffic is taken over, inherently associated with that is the direct opposite correlation, the fact that there's less humans. So it's going to be like, I'm saying it's going to be it's not going to be long before it's like 99% of the internet is bots. Soon. Just remember Ruckus said this. These things happen fast. Just saying.
And instead of going to search engines, people, and I do it myself as well, are using AI as glorified search engines, essentially, because it does pull a lot better data than any search engine out there, depending on
I'm
the
sure
prompt.
This is all going to work out just fine for everybody at the end. It's not like ultimately they could switch it up and nobody realizes the frog slow boiled into one authoritative source of information. Anyone? Hello?
Like I said, there's this problem we've been reporting on throughout this week. It's broken mainstream, I believe. This problem with the 5 big tech companies that are circle jerking the whole economy and lying about their debt levels on their balance sheet, putting a bunch of debt they have into their subsidiary companies to hide it off of their regular main company balance sheet, distorting their actual financial position. As in, they're essentially technically bankrupt due to debt asset ratio if they were giving us an honest accounting of their financial position. But they're hiding their debt, as I said, in subsidiary company balance sheets.
Yeah, the government's going to bail them out. We can all see it coming.
We've been reporting that as well. They're already asking quietly for a bailout and being put under national security. Too big to fail, too big to jail. Privatize the gains, socialize the losses, as we learned during the 2008 financial crisis.
Well, we do have these far left extremist domestic terrorists running around cutting down these flock cameras. God only knows what they're going to do to these data centers, Sam.
Wow. That's coming too. Okay, so what are they saying here? Let's go back to the chat and we'll try to wrap this up here as we're at the 3-hour mark almost. Liberals always crying, always cussing, always screaming, always yelling, always beating their fists, always pulling their hair, always threatening, demonstrating violent behavior. Trump wins, drugs down, and Libbies can't acknowledge Trump wins. Huh? Drugs down? Huh? The government ships the drugs into this country in large part. So don't make any mistakes about it. And anybody they bust, they're busting their competition. All right? So let's get straight about who's trafficking the drugs in this country. It's our own government.
And they want to legalize pot nationwide. So,
I did see that the Democrats in the House are trying to remove marijuana from any drug scheduling. And this is not your, Summer of Love 1969 marijuana. This stuff is, in some cases, weaponized and not of God. It's of Pfizer, if you know what I'm saying. And the like there.
Sometimes they put it in bottles that look like alcohol too, but only sometimes.
You should see California, man. That stuff's everywhere. We're swimming in it here. Literally.
I was in Albuquerque, dude. They legalized it for recreational purposes for at least 2 years before I moved.
Well, there it's literally you're swimming in it. Shout out to Mac. He says the kids were human shields. I agree on the deficit, though. Dump the Federal Reserve and back with silver, not gold, which should have been done decades ago. Ugly ass building. You guys don't like the pyramid Iranian parliament?
Real quick, the money thing, that might have been the first, that might have been where we put the nail in our own coffin as a country. That might have been
1913. Yeah, sure. Having a private central banking cartel that they lie and act like it's part of the federal government. Yeah, that's.
Of course, we didn't do ourselves any favors by having a civil war either, just saying.
That was also remade. The 14th Amendment. It didn't end slavery. It made everyone slaves.
Yeah, what a huge lie that whole thing was that taught to us in school. Anyways, that's a story for another day.
The old Twilight Zone, you are obsolete. Yeah.
The obsolete man.
Let's see. John on the YouTube says Mike Huckabibby. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I'm stealing that.
Mike Huckabibby. That is a good one, John, on the YouTube there. Mike Huckabibby. Mike the Spike. Oh, Breakthrough News was subpoenaed. Breakthrough News was subpoenaed, Max says. Government leaves them as targets. government convinced people they could protect them. I say it all the time. Government can't and won't keep you safe. That's a giant lie. Public safety is a giant freaking lie. Because notice, cops come after the crime, dude. Like, I live in a cop neighborhood, okay? And I've had my freaking catalytic converter stolen off my car in my driveway with freaking a cop car literally like 5 houses down parked in their driveway. You know what I mean? So even a cop car literally parked where the thieves that stole my catalytic converter could see the cop car. They don't give a damn. So that's no deterrent to crime. And another thing, there's a community mailbox in my neighborhood over here. Literally, I know that's an overused term, but across the street, a cop lives there, drives a cop SUV. I think it's like a GMC, whatever, SUV, cop SUV, parked across the street, a straight line of sight, and thieves went in there with a crowbar and whatever and pried open the community mailbox and stole everybody's mail with a cop SUV, I don't know, 30 feet away from them. You know what I mean? So it does not deter crime to have literal police right there. Thieves don't give a damn, as evidenced by my own experience here. The government can't and won't keep you safe, and probably won't even solve the crime either after the fact. But they will shoot your dog and may shoot you. Lips. I don't know, man. We're drawing a lot of comments. Thank you guys for the legitimates. I can't even keep it up on the YouTube, but if you guys are legit, thank you. Shout out to Karen and Denver on the Rumble over there, regular listeners. Yeah, a whole heck of a lot of comments on.
I saw Chloe, I think, and a few other people wished me a happy birthday. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you guys for tuning in on the YouTube, keeping that chat lively. Wasn't sure if you read chats or not. What sites do you get your sources? Multiple. Well, you know what? Go to Weaponized News Substack, and I link almost everything we talk about there, and you can see all of our sources there. We're as transparent as you can possibly be here. And I want other people to pick up what we're reporting. Go do your own research. Debunk me. Prove me wrong if you can out there.
To be fair, you do have links to a lot of fake news sources, like the White House's official Twitter account.
We have to report the official story in many things, or we will be deleted, you see, is the problem. An official story is where we start from, at least. Well, heck, my AI therapist told me to smoke the weeds. That's what Karen says. To smoke, my AI therapist told me to smoke the weeds, do the myth, and worship Satan, y'all. You need a new AI therapist, Karen, because that's horrific advice, actually. She also wished you happy birthday here. Get a new AI therapist, please. Or actually, don't use an AI therapist at all. Okay, final thoughts, comments, concerns, Ruckus, before we wrap up this Thursday edition.
Yeah, very concerned. I've got 11 hours left to say I'm still in my 40s, so I'm going to go live it up. Thanks for having me, Sam, and God bless y'all. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Ruckus. Happy birthday, and go Leos out there. I learned today, Ruckus and I are both Leos. That's why we're both such big assholes, according to my wife. So just saying. No, we love you all out there, even the trolls, haters, and the like. Keep all your comments coming. Thank you guys very much. Wasn't saying your sources are wrong. I just asked who. I don't know, Substack, whatever, built a paid. No, it's free, dude. Go to Weaponized News Substack. The link is in the description below this video. You can't miss it. It's all free there. So
just some people don't understand. Like there'll be a spot where it'll ask you for your email, and if you want to cite, just skip it. Just say no thanks, and you're good. It's
there's
still,
a little hyperlink that says no.
It looks like it's a paid thing. It's really, really not. Just to skip all that. Yeah.
It's all free. We asked for people to become paid subscribers, which is an option because that's how you're supporting this independent media broadcast. But it's all free by design to try to spread and share this information. And again, go freaking challenge me. I want to be challenged. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I am. I've been following this and reporting on it long enough to be pretty damn confident in the overall grand conspiracy of it, that we're 100% on the money here now. All right, friends, with that, as always, everybody do your own research, peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. We'll be back here on Friday for more Weaponized News. Same bat time, same bat channel. And let's pray for peace. I believe we'll probably be bombing Iran again tomorrow, sadly. And tragically enough, let's hope they are not doing serious damage to U.S. troops in the region, which it appears to some unconfirmed reports out there. They're bombing heavily troop barracks at bases in the region there. Let's hope there's not hundreds or even thousands of U.S. casualties, as if the Department of War would even tell us the truth. But there are those reports out there. Let's